Hollywood, starting from animation. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426, The overseas market of Harry Potter has exploded. December 4th, the crew of Harry Potter held a grand world premiere in London, England on the day of the premiere. Even though Zhu Ke hadn't been there, the popularity of the scene was enthusiastic. Well-known actors and actresses from the British Isles, and even those senior veterans who don't often attend the event, also showed up. For a time, the entire premiere scene was star-studded. J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, also personally appeared on the scene. Her arrival caused a scream from many book fans on the scene. At present, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, as the first and second installments of the series, have been promoted by Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, setting off a storm of fantasy magic in the market. The live-action movie has not yet been released, and the books are already very popular, even if the popularity of book sales is certainly far less popular than after the movie was released. Zhu Ke's effort is not small. The publicity funds spent are not rare. As of December 2020, a single book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, has been on the market for 19 months. With global sales reaching 12 million copies, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets has been on the market for 13 months and has sold 10.3 million copies worldwide. The first and second parts of the entire series of books have cumulatively sold more than 22 million copies. This data is enough to make it famous and included in the book bestseller list, especially in the British Isles. J.K. Rowling, as a book author, now has a great reputation. Of course, the biggest beneficiary is Zhu Ke. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone book, the unit price is $19.50. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets book, the unit price is $28. In other words, the book sales alone has generated more than $500 million in revenue, excluding various expenses and costs, channel fees, shelf fees of bookstores in various places, etc. In just over a year, Jinshuguang Publishing under Zhu Ke has received $290 million in revenue, and the net profit is absolutely more than $100 million. Jinshuguang Publishing has made a lot of money. The entire publishing industry is going crazy with jealousy. Is this still the revenue from the unreleased live-action movie of Harry Potter? My God, once the live-action movie is released, then I really can't imagine how much they can make, Random House President Billy King said in an interview with the media, December 8, Friday. Soon after the successful premiere of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, it was finally officially released throughout the UK. On this day, on the day of the premiere, there were as many as 620 cinemas opened. Sure, unexpectedly, Wald Pictures now has such a strong distribution capability in the British film market. The number of cinemas opened is as high as 620 cinemas. Although this cannot be compared with the American film market, in the UK, it already accounted for more than 35% of the day's film schedule. Many filmmakers were amazed. No way. The UK is an island country after all, and its movie market is just this size. Paramount Pictures President Shirley Lansing again gave Vice President Jordan an order: be sure to pay close attention to the premiere of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in the UK. She is well aware that once the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone film has achieved excellent box office results in the British film market, it will inevitably affect the American film market in the near future, and greatly affect the American film market. Arrangement situation, they are betting, President Shirley Lansing said with a solemn expression. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone film in the British film market, once the box office results fail to meet expectations, or even lose the box office, then Wald Pictures will finalize the 1920s. The number of cinemas in North America is bound to be reduced, but once it succeeds, then our interests will be greatly harmed. At this moment, Shirley Lansing deliberately spoiled her, and even wanted to make a trick, but she can't. First, the British film market is not a domestic American market after all. Paramount, as one of the 6 major Hollywood players, will weaken its strength and influence a lot when fighting overseas. Second, Zhu Ke is not easy to mess with either. Paramount is watching the premiere of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in the UK. Similarly, Universal Pictures, Sony Columbus, Warner, 20th Century Fox, Disney and other film companies are also watching its box office situation. Touchstone Pictures, DreamWorks Movies, Emperor Gate Entertainment, Artisan Entertainment, these film companies are also watching. Man, The Christmas season has been the top 6 private places in Hollywood. So far, the rising stars who want to challenge the hegemony of the Big Six in this period are endless, but all are falling into the sand. Can Zhu Ke Wald succeed? Many people can't help but raise this question in their hearts. Someone is looking forward to it similarly. Some people are waiting to see the jokes. There is never a shortage of people with bad hearts in the world. Such people will never see that others are better than him. Wait for death. The Big Six of Hollywood are like emperors, dominating the entire movie market. Yes, even this time during the Christmas season, Warner Incorporated killed itself due to internal struggles and was the first to get out. But the other 6 major Hollywood companies are not good bullies. Wald Pictures wants to make a big deal, and it's impossible to say that this time it will be smashed. Zhe, the boss of New Line Pictures, was behind the scenes more than once, mocking Zhu himself in Wald Pictures. "Look, take a good look," Shay said. This time around Christmas is the beginning of the decline of Wald Pictures. As for the previous brilliant achievements of Wald Pictures, he has consciously ignored them, especially the Spider-Man movie released not long ago. So far, the Spider-Man movie, which has been released for more than 3 months, has earned more than $320 million in the box office in North America. www.wuxiaspot.com. The global cumulative box office is as high as $810 million. Even if the final box office does not exceed $900 million, this result is excellent enough to make many filmmakers crazy. Of course, Shay was very upset. "Humph," Zhu coldly snorted. "Next year. Wait until tomorrow, when my Lord of the Rings movie comes out. Who'll say I am inferior to that Zhu?" To be honest, there is no conflict between Zhu Ke and Shay. When the two talked face to face, they talked and laughed, but Shay just couldn't understand Zhu Ke's high spirits. The next day, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone UK box office results have been released, and the entire British film industry has been completely exploded. The major Hollywood studios were shocked again and again, and collectively lost their voices. The movie box office has exploded. The first update is sent. Chapter 427, Collective Loss of Voice. £8.49 million. That's right, the movie Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, in 620 theaters in the UK, made a box office of £8.49 million on the day of its premiere, which was equivalent to $12 million. It doesn't seem to be high. On the day of its premiere in the United States, the Spider-Man movie earned more than $40 million at the box office, but, this is a small British Isles. At the box office on the premiere day of £8.49 million British pounds, it was already the top box office champion in the whole year of 2000. The Times immediately issued an article saying, Harry Potter at the box office of £8.49 million on the first day, ranked first in the box office of 2000. Throughout the history of British film box office, it is second only to The Lion, released in 1995. The King and Titanic, released in 1998, ranked number 3 on the box office chart of movie history day. On the daily box office, it surpassed the Star Wars prequel 1, released in 1999, Toy Story 2, released in early 2000, and Six Heroes of the Pig, released in 1997. The whole article sings praises to Harry Potter. Similarly, other local media colleagues in the UK were unwilling to be lonely and wrote articles and published them one after another. British Mirror published an article, "The Harry Potter movie is expected to become the UK box office champion in 2000. The Sun published an article, "The box office of Harry Potter on the first day reached £8.49 million. And its box office in the first 3 days of the first weekend must exceed £20 million. The box office results of these 3 days alone are enough to make it into the UK box office this year. The top 5 of the leaderboard, top 5 in the leaderboard, you do not say. As of December 9th, the top 5 UK box office rankings in 2000 were 1. Toy Story 2, £44.3 million British pounds, 2. Gladiator, £31.2 million British pounds, 3. Little Chicken Run, £29.5 million British pounds, 4. American Beauty, £21 million, 5. Out of My World, £18.3 million. Take another look at the Harry Potter movie. The box office on the first day alone was as high as £8.49 million. In the next 2 days, its box office harvest will never be low. The cumulative box office in 3 days will exceed £20 million, which is definitely a breeze. In 3 days, it achieved a high box office that many movies could not get in half a year. British media rushed to report, British film audiences were eagerly sought after, and local film colleagues in the UK collectively lost their voices. All of it shocked many people. Hollywood studios, that is even more sore. My God, there is no end. Harvey Weinstein, president of Miramax Pictures, was astonished when he heard the news. First, Spider-Man had a global box office of more than $900 million, and now Harry Potter turned out. Born? Why, Zhu Ke Wald is everywhere. Shay, the owner of New Line Pictures, is jealous. Patrick, one of the top 3 of Summit Entertainment, exclaimed, "Fortunately, our Red Maple family movie was withdrawn from the UK in time, otherwise there would be no temper at all to be crushed." Barry Meyer of Warner raised his brow and exclaimed, "He has dug another gold mine." My colleagues in Hollywood were shocked, but more Hollywood studios, after being shocked, smelled the coming of a big war. Awesome Lionsgate's boss Gusto laughed and laughed. Originally this Christmas schedule, I thought I would still want to be as boring as in previous years. I still watch the big 6 in Hollywood fighting, haha, but this year is estimated to be different. Harry Potter premiered in the UK and achieved such excellent results, so the top 6 guys in Hollywood, it is estimated that they will panic now. In fact, it is exactly the same. Warner Brothers Pictures, because of its own reasons, withdrew from the competition for this Christmas period early and was unable to fight for the top spot. However, several giant companies such as Disney and Universal have never given up fighting for the first place. Paramount Pictures, no, absolutely not. We cannot let Wald Pictures rise again. Harry Potter can make a big box office explosion in the UK, so it can also make a big box office explosion in the United States. We were also able to suppress Wald Pictures in both the media and theaters, but what about now? It won't be long before the greedy cinema and the media reporters who are like a wall of grass, the cocktail party, will turn to Wald Pictures. Then, what will we stop? President Shirley Lansing looked solemn. The atmosphere in the entire conference room was almost dripping. At the same time, Golden Shugwang Entertainment Group Zhu Ke also got the box office data immediately. Well, to be precise, Zhu Ke received the news earlier than many people. Good job, Zhu Ke laughed and said, "It seems that Old Bill's decision is correct. It is true that the family is as old as a treasure. Old Bill's decades of Hollywood experience is one of our company's most valuable assets." Alexander on the side also laughed and said, "I just got news from Mr. Micknick that the major mainstream cinema chains in the UK will increase the schedule of Harry Potter. It is estimated that the number of movie theaters will be released today from 620 to 800, add 180 cinemas. Don't be too little." The number of 620 theaters on the day of the premiere of Harry Potter already accounted for 35% of the day in the United Kingdom. Now there are 180 more theaters, and the total number of movies has increased to 47%, nearly half. A few days later, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in the British film market, 3 days in the first weekend, made a box office of $28.75 million. The box office performance of these 3 days alone is enough to become the 4th place in the UK annual box office rankings in 2000, and it is only a few £100,000 less than the third Chicken Run movie Fire. It's completely hot. In the past few days, in the UK, if you haven't seen the Harry Potter movie, you are embarrassed to say that you have gone out at the same time. www.wooksyaspit.com. The explosion of movies has also made the Harry Potter series of books sold again. Peripheral products such as dolls, keyrings, clothing, etc. are also on sale. Of course, the most popular are the little actors who star in the Harry Potter movie. The actor of Harry Potter Daniel, Ron Weasley's actor Rupert Grint, Hermione's actor Emma Watson. The 3 young actors of the Hogwarts Iron Triangle are originally British nationals. Now the movie guys, the 3 of them have completely become household names in the UK. Their popularity is so popular that even some of the Queen-level stars cannot be compared at this moment. The heat is so horrible. In the past few days, in the streets and alleys of many cities in the UK, teenagers wearing magic robes, wizard hats, and holding magic wands can be seen everywhere, passing the alleys across the streets. The first update is sent. Chapter 428, continue to be hot. The popularity of the movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone quickly spawned a large number of imitators and players. This is not. Today, many teenagers wearing magic robes, wizard hats, and holding magic wands gather in groups on Trafalgar Square, one of the most famous surfaces in London, England. Even, there is no shortage of people who imitated certain parts of the movie. The beginning of the video, Principal Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall appeared at Privet Road, near Harry Potter's Aunt Petunia's house, waiting for Hagrid to appear. Professor McGonagall, Do you think it is appropriate to leave such an important matter to Hagrid, Dumbledore? I can entrust my life to him, Professor. Professor McGonagall thought it was inappropriate to entrust Harry to his terrible Muggle aunt and uncle, and was a little worried about it. But Dumbledore didn't think so. Isn't it better for him to grow up in a place away from fame and turmoil? Until he can accept it, Dumbledore said when this section of the film was reproduced on Trafalgar Square in London. Many people around could not help but applaud. Well, even many older people who have not seen the Harry Potter movie have applauded. It's great, boys. Of course, the girls performed very well. It's a group of energetic young people. Upon seeing this, those imitators and players became more and more energetic. Immediately there were a few more people performing another stage in the movie. Harry is addicted to the Mirror of Eris. Dumbledore admonishes him like this here again. Harry? I can see that you, like many people before you, have discovered the wonders of Eris's sunglasses. I believe you already know his function. Let me give you a hint. The happiest people in the world can only see themselves when they look in the mirror. Dumbledore said Harry, then it will reflect what we want, no matter what. Yes, not right, Dumbledore said earnestly. It enables people to see their deepest and most urgent desires. Harry, you have never seen your family, so you see your parents standing by your side, but you have to remember. Harry, this mirror neither reflects knowledge nor conveys the truth. People spend time in front of it, or even go crazy. I hope you don't look for it anymore, don't indulge in illusory dreams, and forget about real life. Whether in the movie Harry Potter or in the novel Harry Potter, Dumbledore has always been an outstanding and intelligent old man. Most of the book fans and movie fans are attracted to Dumbledore. This is a phenomenon that many parents are happy to see. For example, after the first round of battle with Voldemort, Harry found and guarded the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry, who was resting in the school hospital, asked Dumbledore for his doubts. Harry, do you know why Professor Quirrell can't stand you touching him? Because of your mother. He sacrificed himself to save you. This behavior left a mark. No, this mark is invisible. It grows in every inch of your skin. Dumbledore blurted out. Harry, what is that? Dumbledore, love. Harry, it's love. Correct and healthy values and social outlook greatly help the growth of fans of small books. You said, why don't those parents love Harry Potter? These various phenomena and good news have further increased the box office of Harry Potter movies. The fourth day of the film's release was Monday, a working day, but the Harry Potter film still received a box office record of £4.52 million. Today this result is enough to make Harry Potter top the box office of the British film market on Monday. Number 2 is only reported at a box office of £1.3 million. Today number 3. The box office reported that day was less than £1 million. The British box office rankings went from 2nd to 8th on that day, and the total amount of the box office reported on that day was equal to that of Harry Potter. Its strong performance can be seen. Many of my colleagues are going crazy jealously. My God, Bailey, the president of the UK's top RPC film company, said in shock. With the further popularity of Harry Potter, I can hardly imagine its final box office results. If not, it can become a British film box office champion. Yes, I am not referring to the 2000 annual box office champion, but the British film history box office champion. In 1987, the film The Last Emperor, which won 8 awards including the Oscar for Best Picture and Best Director, was filmed and completed under the leadership of Deo Film Company and Italian Yanko Film Company. The status of Deo Films in the UK is no less than that of Disney and Warner in Hollywood. Ever since, Bailey's words were reprinted crazily by many media. After all, this Pele is not the king of the ball, but the British film tycoon Pele. The situation has progressed to this point, and everyone understands the fact Harry Potter has been unstoppable. America Golden Shugwang Entertainment Group is the chairman of the board. Zhu Ke has always had a smile on his face in the past few days, and he can't stop his pride in his heart. No way. Who made Harry Potter hit the British movie box office? Prior to this, the old Bill and Zucker decided to let Harry Potter premiere in the UK, which was a very risky decision. Success, it will greatly enhance the influence in the United States. Failure, then undoubtedly will greatly dampen the future box office potential of Harry Potter. Where's the reason why you can make a lot of money without taking risks? Zhu shook his fist. The reality is that we succeeded. The winner wins everything. In fact, the reason why the movie Harry Potter was able to achieve the success of the British premiere explosion, in addition to the director of The Old Bill, Zhu himself has definitely a great credit. Since 1998, Zhu has definitely spent a lot of effort to promote the Harry Potter books, and the financial, manpower, Material resources, media influence, etc. spent during the period are simply countless. A large amount of effort has made today's return. In the original time and space history, Warner Company has produced the Harry Potter movie. Reading www.youcan'tchew.com cost $125 million, and the publicity cost is no less than $50 million. But look at how much Zhu spent. The publicity expense that Zhu prepared for the Harry Potter movie is a full $100 million. This is a real $100 million publicity fee. Even the big six of Hollywood with deep pockets could not easily decide the $100 million publicity fee. After all, it is 2000, not after 2010. Take a look at Titanic. Its publicity costs can be worth more than $100 million. Not only that, Zhu's emphasis on Harry Potter is by no means comparable to Warner in the original time and space. In the original time and space, Warner was in a turbulent period of internal struggle. Where could there be extra energy to promote Harry Potter? It wasn't until Harry Potter achieved a box office of more than $900 million that Warner began to spare no effort to promote it. The Harry Potter movie is certainly excellent, but the most important thing is the large-scale investment in a large-scale publicity and promotion. In this regard, Zhu has done a lot. Looking around the world, Zhu's strength and influence, including influence, are certainly not as strong as Warner's, but only in the United States and the United Kingdom, Zhu absolutely dare to wrestle with any of the big six in Hollywood. I definitely made a huge contribution to the success of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Zhu boasted, although there is suspicion of boasting. This is precisely the fact. In the original time and space, when the Harry Potter 1 movie was released, the total global sales of the Harry Potter book series could only exceed 2 million copies, and what about after Zhu's operation? The cumulative global book sales have exceeded 20 million copies. Are you kidding me? The first update is sent. Chapter 429, Disney and number 039, S. Regret. Disney Group. As one of the senior executives of the Disney Group, Robert Iger, in the future, he will defeat the current Disney chairman Michael Eisner, known as the Disney Tyrant, and ascend Disney's highest throne of power, status, and honor in one fell swoop. However, he is in the office at this moment, frowning. Robert, I mistakenly underestimated Wald Pictures. Your judgment is correct, and its future cannot be underestimated. No. It has grown to the point where it cannot be ignored now, Roy Disney said solemnly. Yes, Robert nodded, his face solemnly said, it develops too fast, and everything caught us off guard. The rapid development of Wald Pictures is far more terrifying than Hollywood's 6 major enemies, DreamWorks. This doesn't. In this Christmas period, the 6 major Hollywood studios except Paramount Pictures and 20th Century Fox Pictures, the remaining 4 have all put tremendous pressure on Wald Pictures. The number of Harry Potter movies in theaters in the United States shows everything. Roy Disney, a member of the Disney family, is also the first person within the Disney Group to oppose Chairman Michael Eisner. The struggle between the two sides is incompatible with fire and water. Roy Disney believes that the Disney Group was founded by the Disney family, and even if it is commercialized and decentralized today, it cannot deprive the members of the Disney family of their status within the group. Eisner sneered very much. He said, I am grateful to the Disney family for inviting me to work as the CEO of the group. Facts have proved that I have led Disney to a more glorious today. As it should be. I should get more benefits. The contradiction between the two parties is completely uncoordinated. Robert Iger, the future CEO and chairman of Disney, is precisely a member of the Roy camp. For this reason, he had been suppressed for several years before and was exiled to the Japanese branch for several years. As a result, we still failed. When Roy thought of the box office achievements of the Harry Potter movie in the UK, he couldn't help but exclaimed, one of Hollywood's laws of survival, if you can't suppress it, try your best to win. Robert laughed at himself. Once, we almost became a partnership with Wald Pictures, but that shit, like Eisner, he actually pushed Wald Pictures away. Roy Disney was done once upon a time, on the advice of Old Bill. Zhu took the initiative to contact the Disney Group to jointly develop the Pirates of the Caribbean project. This is undoubtedly an existence that is beneficial to both parties, but what did Disney do? If you want to cooperate, there is no problem, but the premise is that the Disney Group must obtain the full copyright of Pirates of the Caribbean. These are the original words of Disney chairman Michael Eisner. What a domineering, presumptuous command. Zhu Ke put a cold on his hot face. So Zhu was annoyed, and I shot and broke. I stopped playing with you at that time. Robert Iger, one of the executives, worked hard to facilitate this cooperation. For this reason, he also asked Roy Disney for help. However, Roy Disney did not pay much attention to Wald Pictures. Well, to be precise, he doesn't look down on Zhu Ke. He thinks Zhu Ke is a lucky guy with little abilities from beginning to end, and he belongs to a person who will not last for a long time and will be defeated sooner or later. Hey man, stop talking about this. I admit that I made mistakes. Made mistakes of arrogance, madness, and arrogance. After all, even though Wald Pictures has released a lot of good films before, it has never proved its strength during Thanksgiving and Christmas. But, this time, Harry Potter movie, slapped me loudly. Roy Disney is very regretful and annoyed at this time. Robert's words pierced his heart again. If Wald Pictures' Pirates of the Caribbean project is also going to explode in the future, will you regret it more? Suddenly, Roy's face froze. Will Pirates of the Caribbean movie explode in the future? It won't really burst, will it? Thinking of this, Roy couldn't help regretting it even more in the beginning. If he took part in it, maybe the Pirates of the Caribbean project was really jointly developed by Wald Pictures and Disney. How can there be so many good things? Roy insisted. They developed Spider-Man first, and then Harry Potter has exploded. This is already a very rare thing. I don't believe that Pirates of the Caribbean can be so successful in the future. To say 1,000 words, the Disney Group missed the opportunity to win over Wald Pictures. The two sides are not enemies, but they are definitely not friends. 20th Century Fox. The rise of Wald Pictures is already unstoppable, Rupert Murdoch said solemnly. In just a few days, the movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone has achieved a box office record of nearly £30 million in the UK market. If nothing else, it is the champion of the British box office rankings this year, and even the British Film History box office champion. It is also competitive, the annual box office champion, British Film History box office champion. No way. At this moment, Murdoch's third wife, Wendy Deng, said in astonishment. Over the years, many Hollywood blockbusters have been sunk in the British market, and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone will definitely be able to compete for Britain. The Film History box office champion. For Murdoch's remarks, Wendy Deng couldn't believe it. Murdoch smiled, and then said a set of statistics. The UK box office rankings as of December 2020. 1. The Lion King, released in the UK in 1996, with a total box office of £76.5 million. 2. Titanic, released in the UK in 1998, with a cumulative box office of £69.8 million. 3. Six Heroes of the Pig, released in 1997, with a total box office of £52.23 million. 4. Star Wars Prequel 1, released in 1999, has a cumulative box office of £51.6 million. As Wendy Deng said, many movies that have achieved high box office results in the United States, after being released in the UK, failed to achieve amazing box office results, or even very mediocre. The Matrix movie, is it awesome? The United States alone achieved a high box office of $171 million, and the global box office reached $460 million. However, it only harvested £17.28 million in the British market, and this is the highest result achieved after opening more than 900 cinemas. Tisk tut. To be honest, the box office is really not much. However, the achievements of Harry Potter in the UK today, and the future development trend, have completely exceeded everyone's expectations. £50 million is definitely not its end. 60 million, 70 million www.uxiaspit.com, or even 80 million British pounds, there is a great possibility, in the original time and space history. The final score of Harry Potter 1 in the UK market was £66 million, but Zucker's box office will definitely exceed £66 million. As for the final box office results, who knows? Similarly, the final global box office performance of Harry Potter 1 is also a big unknown, because soon, to be precise, in another 3 days, Harry Potter 1 will be released in the United States. Open more than 1,900 theaters. No, there are now more than 2,700 theaters. The 3 major theaters in the US, whose interests are the standard, have seen Harry Potter explode in the UK. Naturally, they have rapidly increased the number of films and the number of screenings. Sent the second update. Thank you for your support. Chapter 430, Harry Potter is a big hit in America. Time is fleeting in a blink of an eye. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was released in North America on December 15, 2000. The number of movie theaters opened to more than 2,700, ranking 4th in the US for film production that day. On that day, the film with the most number of films scheduled and played was the film Men 100%, which was released in the same period. With a production and distribution company behind it being Paramount Pictures, it has won more than 3,300 cinemas. This is about 100 fewer than the expected number of 3,400 cinemas, but how can it be number one in the amount of tablets? Who is it? The second-ranked movie on that day was the movie The Man at Home, released by Universal Pictures, released 3 days ago. It currently has a total box office of $15 million, and the number of theaters showing on that day is 2,850. The third place is the film Vertical Limit, released on the 8th of this month and produced by Sony Columbia, with a cumulative box office of $30 million in 2,760 theaters that day. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, with a production cost of $125 million and a publicity cost of $100 million, was only ranked fourth in terms of the number of films scheduled for the day. It's not that Wald Pictures is not strong, but the opponent's strength is too strong, dude. The top 3 companies in the day's schedule are Paramount Pictures, Universal Pictures, and Sony Columbia. Which one is not the top 6 in Hollywood, excluding Men 100%, which has the highest number of films? The remaining Houseman and Vertical Limit. The number of films is no higher than Wald Pictures' Harry Potter. Even judging from the film's box office potential, Zhu Ke is confident that the 2 films The Man at Home and Vertical Limit will be completed. Paramount's Men 100%, which was released during the same period, should not be underestimated. Although I don't remember the final box office data of the movie, I vaguely remember that in the original time and space, it was the top 5 existence of this year's North American movie box office rankings. In other words, its North American box office results will not be less than $160 million. Zhu Ke thought in his heart, but would Hugh be afraid? Of course not, man. This is a Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone movie. Moreover, the film has been proven in the British film market, proving that it has the potential to explode. Hard bar. Zhu is not persuaded. No? Then compete for hard power. Redstone smiled and said, a Harry Potter movie is a mere Harry Potter movie. Even if it can win the annual box office championship in the UK, that doesn't mean anything. Don't forget, this is the United States. And we are Paramount. In the words, Lei Shidan was full of domineering. Lei Shidan, now in his 70s, is always so energetic. Don't say it's a hard fight for a movie. In his rich life experience, he has gone bankrupt 3 times and has nothing, but he has never been discouraged. He started a new business at the age of 50 and worked hard to achieve such a net worth. He would not know why he was afraid. Things, yes, boss. Everyone nodded and said yes at the same time. Shirley Lansing, the president of Paramount Pictures, is not afraid. What can she rely on as a woman to become the master of one of the 6 major Hollywood? It must be a strong heart, far surpassing the heart of most men. Mel, are you confident in your movie? Shirley Lansing turned her gaze to a man sitting on the sofa. Of course. I never lack confidence, the man replied. His name is Mel Gibson, the current Hollywood actor, is one of the few men who can stand alone at the box office. At the same time, he is also the leading actor in the movie Men 100%. The movie Men 100% has another name, Who Knows a Woman's Heart. Well, perhaps the translation of Who Knows Women's Heart is more familiar to Asian audiences. The film mainly tells the protagonist Nick, Mel Gibson, is the manager of an advertising agency in Chicago. He believes that he is infinitely attractive in front of women and is loved by women, but the arrogant female boss Darcy, Helen Henn, specially played, but it makes him difficult to parry. Suddenly one day, he awakened a supernatural function. Read the mind. Nick can easily see women's thoughts, so the wonderful story happened in the original time and space. The film achieved a box office record of $182 million in North America and $370 million in the world, and broke the box office record of Hollywood comedy romance movies. Paramount, the production company, uses this to make a lot of money. The most important thing is the remake of the film, which was bought by 27 countries and regions around the world. The Chinese version of Men 100%, starring Andy Lau and Gong Li, also achieved good box office results. There is no doubt that, as the same film released on December 15, Paramount's Men 100% movie is one of Wald Pictures' Harry Potter's biggest competitors. What's more, there are 3,300 theaters for Men 100%, which ranks first in the number of films scheduled for that day. Disney Group, Harry Potter movie. I know it is a good movie, but how can it be? Michael Eisner, the chairman of Disney, known as the Disney tyrant, sneered. Hollywood has more excellent movies every year, but not all of them can get high box office. In recent years, Michael Eisner has been busy with Disney's internal struggles and made many mediocre and almost ridiculous wrong decisions, but Disney's stock price is still rising. He has been in Hollywood for decades and has a wealth of experience and struggle. A good movie of the opponent, as long as we plan it properly, we can also black out it. Zhu Ke Wald, haha, since my previous wrong decision has already offended him, then I will simply offend him to the end, and directly kill Harry Potter on December 15th. In addition to Harry Potter and Man 100%, Disney also has a new movie released. Become a King is an animated movie. It was created by Disney Animation in 3 years, with more than 300 staff participating in the whole process, and the production cost alone was as high as $100 million. Moreover, it is also the first computer-based production that Disney Animation has opened after putting down the glory of hand-drawn animation in the past. The feature-length animated film at the same time, the completion of this animated film, it's much technical support, but from Pixar Animation for Disney Animation, it is definitely a movie with a special meaning and mission. It will announce the world, the return of the Disney Animation King. This is Michael Eisner's promotional slogan for the animated film Turn the King. The three companies, Walt Pictures, Paramount Pictures, and Disney Group, are in today's fight, in a sense. Will determine the overlord ownership of the Christmas schedule in 2000. www.wuxiaspit.com. The vast majority of industry insiders believe Paramount Pictures' Man 100% will be the biggest winner, but the results surprised everyone. On the 15th, just after noon, Harry Potter achieved the first highest box office result of the day with the fourth-ranked film volume of the day. The two films Man 100% and Become a King, released at the same time, were all stepped on the souls of Harry Potter. Movies such as Sony Columbia's Vertical Limit and Universal Pictures' Houseman that were released a few days ago have also been left far behind. What? God? Is this true? Many people saw that Harry Potter achieved the #1 box office result in the middle of noon, and it was full of incredible looks. There is only one update today. The author's cold not only didn't heal, but it also worsened. Now he's hanging a drip in the hospital. Woo. Chapter 431, $80 million for 3 days. At noon, it should have been a time for many people to eat and rest well. The employees of Hollywood studios are no exception. However, the daily entertainment news program broadcasted at noon on the WB television network under the Golden Shugwang Entertainment Group reported the box office revenue situation on December 15th, $8.24 million. That's right, in just one morning, the movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone earned more than $8 million in box office results from more than 2,700 movie theaters. Well-deserved #1. Do you watch other movies? As of noon, the film that temporarily ranked #2 at the box office that day was Paramount Pictures' Men 100% with a box office of $3.27 million. #3, Disney's Transformation of a King, currently earning $1.79 million at the box office. #4, The Man at Home by Universal Pictures. The protagonist of this film is the current popular star Nicolas Cage, who earned $1.58 million at the box office that day. The fifth place is Chocolate by Miramax Films. The film has just been released today, but compared to the Harry Potter, Man 100%, and Transformed King released in the same period, it is much weaker. Well, it is not just a contest between the movie itself, but also a game between the distribution company and the theater. The result is obvious. The second to fifth place, the box office that day's harvest adds up, is completely inferior to the strong performance of Harry Potter. It's blown out. Hollywood film companies, where do they care about whether it's lunch and break time? One of them counted as one, and they were bombed out one after another. It's incredible. Warner's Barry Meyer, through the popular performance of the British film market before, I knew that it would achieve a pretty good result in the local box office market in the United States, but at the moment when the results were really announced, I still felt full of shock. I can only use words such as shock, surprise, etc., to express my mood at the moment. Rupert Murdoch, the owner of 20th Century Fox Pictures and News Corporation, said in surprise, although its lead at the moment only represents the lead as of noon. I dare to say that even in the golden age of watching movies at night, the performance of Harry Potter will definitely far exceed any film released in the same period. In Murdoch's words, he praised the Harry Potter movie slowly, but he still felt sour in his heart. Nima is too abnormal. He had speculated earlier that Harry Potter could be a big hit in North America, but he never expected it to be so big. Man 100%, 3,300 theaters opened. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone has only 2,700 theaters, the former has more than 400 theaters showing more than the latter, but the box office between the two has turned around, and the difference is not small. It's amazing. Murdoch sighed. This year's North American box office leaderboard is Wald Pictures. First, Spider-Man hit the global box office of more than $800 million, and now Harry Potter rides the wind and waves. Tisk tut, it's amazing. Paramount Pictures at this moment, the crew of Men 100%, which is making a movie promotion on a TV station under Paramount Pictures, is also shocked. From the director to the producer, from the producer to the actor, the faces are extremely ugly, especially Mel Gibson, the leading actor of the film, has a blushing face. Damn it, why? Does it surpass my movie, The Man 100% I starred in? But the best watched romantic comedy movie this year is no better than a fantasy fairy tale starring a bunch of children. Extremely hateful. Mel Gibson immediately yelled at him. The entire Hollywood admits that Mel Gibson is a very good actor, and his starring in Deadly Weapon, Braveheart, Mad Max and other movies, all of them have burst in word of mouth and box office. Movie, but his hot stinky temper is well-known mood. This is also a label given to him by the outside world. However, before 2004, before he frantically complained about the Jews after drinking, these shortcomings were all covered by his high popularity at this moment. His furious performance made many people unhappy at the scene, but no one would offend him. The Harry Potter movie, a movie made by a bunch of kids, can get such a high box office. It's a joke. Are movie audiences nowadays so poor in aesthetics? Mel Gibson scolded the audience again. Hearing this, the director of the show immediately changed his face and said solemnly, "Mel, pay attention to your words. And everyone, I don't want what you hear and see here today to appear in front of the world." Everyone was stunned, but nodded. Mel Gibson's expression also changed, but he remained stubborn. Insult the audience, haha, as long as things are exposed, let alone a Hollywood actor, even those well-known directors can't hold it. Even the boss of a film company, absolutely no one dares to curse the audience in public. Touchstone Pictures, Emperor Gate Entertainment, Artisan Entertainment, New Line Pictures, the bosses of these film companies were also bombed out. Lionsgate's owner Gusta sighed, "We all guessed wrong. This year's Christmas schedule does not belong to the Big Six in Hollywood, but belongs to Wald Pictures." Zhe, the owner of New Line Pictures, said sourly, "This year it is Hugh that guy has good luck. Look at next year and wait until My Lord of the Rings is released." Patrick, one of the top 3 entertainment giants, said in horror, "No matter what the outcome, the Christmas schedule controlled by the 6 major Hollywood companies, this kind of scene almost monopolized by big companies, was opened by Wald Pictures. This is definitely good news for us small and medium film companies." Compared with the reaction of the film festival counterparts, the film audiences in the United States are more pure. A good movie gets a high box office, isn't it right? A teenager of about 20 years old said in an interview with reporters at the entrance of the movie theater, "Since 1999, I read Harry Potter books. I have been a fan of Harry Potter. Now that the movie is released, I will buy a ticket to enter the venue. I have to say that the movie is more exciting. When I see the scenes in the books restored to the big screen, my heart is surging. There are more movie viewers who are unwilling to be lonely, and after watching the movie, they leave messages on the internet. Little Harry boy, good movie, no explanation. Mankey's Family, The Little Wizard is awesome. Long live Lewis, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone movie. www.wooksiaspit.com. I can watch it 3 times. No. 10 times. Many movie audiences discussions and messages in major forums attracted a large number of audiences who originally wanted to buy tickets in a short period of time. All of a sudden, the box office of Harry Potter is more and more as time goes by. Time comes to the evening, as the golden moment of watching movies. The box office of Harry Potter has grown in magnitude, to further throw away all the movies released in the same period. Yiki Juchin, 3 days. In the first 3 days of the weekend, the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone movie was seen in more than 2,700 movie theaters in North America, with a box office record of more than $80 million. The United States is a sensation again. The first update is sent. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432, Create 1 Billion Market. A new and emerging magic miracle. This is the front page headline of the latest edition of the New York Times. It stands to reason that even if the Harry Potter movie created a 3-day North American box office record of $80 million, it would not be able to make the headlines of the New York Times. After all, the New York Times is the oldest and richest in the world. Popularity and influence in media newspapers. Well, Zhu Ke himself has been in the New York Times newspaper, but the headlines on the front page are absolutely nothing but this time, Harry Potter did it. The New York Times editor-in-chief, Charlie Anderson, personally wrote, "The box office miracle brought about by the Harry Potter movie was already revealed when it was released in the UK. This time it was acquired by North America for $80 million in 3 days. The box office performance is both unexpected and reasonable. I want to say that the Harry Potter series and movies are creating a market of hundreds of billions of dollars. Believe it or not, I know, many people don't believe it. Then, please listen to me. The following content of the article discloses a lot of facts, as well as the development and operation plan of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group on the copyright of Harry Potter. The first example cited left many people stunned. December 17, 2020, Golden Dawn Entertainment Group and the Coca-Cola Company reached a cooperation agreement with a total value of $150 million in just 3 hours. Golden Dawn Entertainment Group paid the exclusive marketing rights for the beverage products of the Harry Potter series of movies, authorized for 3 years, and made a profit of $150 million, and the Coca-Cola Company, for the exclusive marketing rights of this beverage product, can be described as courageous, real or fake. Single is an exclusive marketing right for beverage products, and it is only a 3-year authorization, worth $150 million. It's unbelievable. In 1992, Jurassic Park sold the exclusive marketing rights for beverage products to PepsiCo. It lasted for 5 years and the total price was only $70 million. That is already a historical record. Nothing. I thought that in the past few years, the price has more than doubled. Many people who bought the New York Times have their eyes widened and full of doubts. However, they couldn't help but not believe it. After all, this is Charlie Anderson, the editor-in-chief of the New York Times, who wrote the article himself. This is a manifestation of credibility, with a high degree of authenticity. The New York Times editor-in-chief Charlie Anderson also fears that the public will doubt the authenticity. Ever since, in his article, he elaborated on why the Coca-Cola Company was willing to spend such a huge price. First of all, let me explain that Harry Potter is not just a movie. From the very beginning of the birth of Harry Potter, to be precise, from the time when Mr. Zhu Ke Wald took the copyright of the Harry Potter series, he has brewed a huge and involved scope. An extremely wide-ranging project with a value beyond imagination. Well, let's call it the super wealth plan. First of all, books. The first and second parts of Harry Potter, the global cumulative sales have exceeded 23 million, and a week ago, there were only 22 million, that is to say, in just 1 week, the sales of books have been violent. Increased by 1 million, according to the sales data at the New York Times best-selling list. According to analysis, in the next year, the sales of Harry Potter books will climb to more than 30 million copies worldwide, or even more. Just a book market, Harry Potter represents a multi-billion-dollar market. In fact, more than billions of dollars. In the original time and space, Warner has gone through a series of packaging and operations. The Harry Potter series has sold more than 500 million copies worldwide. Remember, this is only a genuine sale. It is a big market in China alone. As of 2015, the sales of genuine books of Harry Potter exceeded 10 million copies. Harry Potter series sold more than 500 million copies worldwide. It is no exaggeration to say that its sales are the third in the world, second only to Bible and selected works of Mel. At the same time, the British branch of our New York Times also sent a message that Wald Pictures, the production company behind the Harry Potter crew, is currently negotiating with the British local government to purchase land. A new magic theme park will be built in the British filming base. It is a magic theme park alone, and the amount invested before and after it is expected to be no less than $1.5 billion. From this, it is enough to see the ambition of Zhu Ke Wald, from the beginning of publishing, to movies, DVDs, videotapes, to beverages, toys, stationery, games, clothing and other thousands of franchise goods, to theme parks, and Wald Pictures and the British government are planning Harry Potter tourism. Boldly speaking, Harry Potter is no longer a character, but an industry that may eventually be worth more than $100 billion. creating a unique commercial miracle in children's literature and even history, a $100 billion industry, for a time, as long as the readers who bought the New York Times that day, one of them counted as one, and they were all shocked if it is just a Coca-Cola. For the exclusive marketing rights of beverages, it has paid $150 million in a flash, which shocks the world. Then when it comes to this $100 billion industry, everyone is shocked and speechless. Shocked. Nima is too shocked. Zhu Ke's ambition and vision are simply unbelievable. Is all this true? Not many people say that Zhu Ke Wald is just a lucky guy. How can he have such ambitions? Lucky? Can a lucky person have a net worth of tens of billions of dollars in just a few years? The internet bubble burst, and giant companies fell one by one. Zhu Ke Wald is one of the few people who can get away. Do you think it can be explained by using the word lucky? He is definitely an ambitious young man. Many people were shocked to www.wooksiaspit.com at this moment. In a house in Los Angeles, a middle-aged man was also shocked. His name is Kangdi, one of Zhu Ke's old friends, and a negotiator. It has only been a few years. Has he grown to this point? Kangdi looked at the newspaper and was dumbfounded in shock. Picture after picture appeared in his mind. It was the Zhu Ke in his impression: stingy, rude, cunning, moody, a lot of hairy boys with stinky problems all over their bodies. But now he dared to create a market of hundreds of billions of dollars. He has really grown, Kangdi sighed. The second update is sent. Chapter 433, The Rapid Expansion of the Industrial Chain. Saturday, December 22, 2020. As of this day, the movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone has been screened online in major theaters in North America. After a full week, it has achieved more than $125 million in box office results. This achievement is particularly impressive. Continue to suppress films such as Men 100%, Transformed into King, Chocolate, Vertical Limits and other movies, occupying the top of the Christmas schedule. Many Hollywood studios gritted their teeth and are full of jealousy, but they can't help it. I have thought about media promotion and negative comments to suppress the box office performance of Harry Potter movies, but we can't. The parent company behind Wald Pictures, Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, it has gradually grown into a giant media company with extensive influence in places such as the United States and Europe. It is definitely not an existence that can be easily defeated in the media. The person who said this is impressively Monves, one of the 6 Hollywood executives from Sony Columbia. Monves is not a general, he is one of Columbia's executives and has made a lot of contributions. He will also serve as the chief executive of CBS TV in the future. However, in 2018, he was dismissed and prosecuted because he was accused of using his position to harass multiple women. It is not just Monves alone who intends to curb the movie box office of Harry Potter. Among the 6 major Hollywood companies, one of them counts as one, and they all want to target Zhu Ke, especially Warner and Disney Group. The contradiction between the two of them and Zhu Ke is not a matter of a day or two, but a long-standing issue of interest disputes. But, this time, even if they used their respective media capabilities, they could not effectively curb the box office gains of Harry Potter. Zhu Ke's current energy in the media field, although not as good as the two of them, is definitely not something anyone can handle. California Entertainment Editor-in-Chief Herta once asked Zhu Ke about this separately. Aren't you worried about Warner and Disney suppressing Harry Potter in the media? Or even targeting you directly? Herta asked. I really don't worry. Zhu Ke spread his hands and said with a smile, I admit that whether it is from TV media, radio media, print media, or even the internet, in terms of media promotion channels, the media power of Jinchuguang Entertainment Group is compared with that of Warner, and for Disney, there is indeed a big gap, but I can die. However, do they dare? There is no doubt that Zhu Ke has reached the point. Jinchuguang Entertainment Group was founded by Zhu Ke, and its subsidiaries are also dealt with by one hand. In terms of the right to speak, Zhu Ke can completely decide with one word and suppress all objections. Once Warner and Disney Group use their media power to suppress Zhu Ke on a large scale, Zhu Ke will definitely not sit still and will definitely choose to fight back, and it's a counterattack regardless of cost. But, Warner and Disney, are they okay? No way. Even if the top leaders of the two of them agreed, the other shareholders and shareholder representatives would never agree. What's more, both of them are listed companies. Once they develop with Zhu Ke on a large scale, their stock prices are bound to be affected. Haha, in a word, they don't mean anything to me. They do little tricks at best, disgusting and disgusting me. But they really want to use their swords and guns. You have the courage to pick them up and try. The big deal will die? Zhu Ke firmly said. The editor-in-chief of California Entertainment, Herta, Immediately enjoyed it ever since. After accepting this interview, Hertha, as Zhuke's dog leg, soon published a compliment and flattering article, which praised Zhuke very well. Shortly after, Los Angeles Entertainment News is also here. In the words of their boss, it's also Mr. Wald's hardcore dog legs. We can't let the guys from the California Entertainment News specialize in the former, all kinds of developments, as expected, as Zhu Ke expected. The big six in Hollywood do little tricks at best, and absolutely dare not be too presumptuous. Ever since, this is where the Harry Potter movie has made great progress. On this day, Golden Dawn Entertainment Group has signed several contracts with Coca-Cola Company for the exclusive marketing rights of beverages worth $150 million and its multiple contracts. Mattel, Lego, and Hasbro, three of the world's top toy giants, paid a huge price for the authorization of Harry Potter. The first is Mattel. Mattel's flagship product is Barbie. In the doll market, Mattel's Barbie doll and Zucker's Bias doll are now in an endless hostile relationship. It stands to reason that the relationship between the two companies is definitely very bad. However, between the company and the company, there are still exchanges of interests. No, Mattel is very eye-catching about the licenses of Harry Potter. After several days of negotiations, Mattel finally finalized a cooperation agreement with Jinshuguang Entertainment Group. Mattel obtained the image authorization of the Harry Potter series of pencil cases, school bags, and stationery, and paid a price of $30 million for the authorization period of 4 years. Secondly, it is the Lego company. Lego, a toy giant with its headquarters in Denmark, is known for its toys in addition to the Lego movie series, which is famous all over the world. For example, the world-renowned building block toy was invented by Lego in this Harry Potter series of peripheral licenses. Lego has obtained the rights to make magic hats, magic wands, and magic supplies. Of course, the price paid is not cheap, a full $45 million. Finally, it is Hasbro. Hasbro's toys such as Transformers, Soldiers, and Special Forces are naturally well known in the world, and their toy images have been shot into movies many times. For example, Transformers series of movies. This time, Hasbro successfully won the right to make plastic dolls for the characters in the Harry Potter series, and the license fee was as high as $100 million. In the office, the chief assistant Alexander smiled openly. Boss. This time just for the peripheral authorization of stationery, magic items, and character plastic dolls, we have accounted for $175 million. Tisk tusk tusk, Harry Potter really is a hen that can lay golden eggs. Zhuke nodded happily. You do not say. Well, to be precise, Harry Potter is a gold mine in the original time and space. Warner Incorporated relied on the peripheral authorization of Harry Potter. In just 10 years, it recorded $7 billion in revenue and at least $4 billion in net profit. In fact, the toy factory under Zucker, even if it cooperates with toy companies such as Mattel, Lego, and Hasbro, can also produce stationery, magic items, clothing and other peripheral products. However, such output is too low to maximize benefits at all. Therefore, Zhuke of course chooses to make money with them, and eating alone will be gang-fighted. This is now, if you change, you just crossed the time. www.wuxiaspit.com. Zhuke is the owner who would rather make less money than eat alone. Alexander, you inform Victor, as soon as possible to finalize the Harry Potter theme park with a local government in London, England. That is the big money maker. Zhu Ke solemnly said. Yes, boss. There is no doubt that the full copyright operation of Harry Potter, under Zhuke's deliberate planning, its entire industrial chain is rapidly expanding. The speed is staggering. This will be a 10-year plan, as New York Times editor-in-chief Charlie speculated. Harry Potter from books, movies, surroundings, theme parks, the entire industry chain, its value will be as high as $100 billion. Even $2,000 billion has become a miracle in the film industry. As one of the beneficiaries, Zhuke will naturally occupy the most delicious portion of this delicious cake. The first update is sent. Chapter 434, The Collapse of a Billion-Dollar Enterprise. December 23rd, on this day, there is only one day left before Christmas Eve comes. There are only 2 days before Christmas. That night Zhuke and his girlfriend Adriana Lima, dressed up to attend a cocktail party hosted by Rio Slim, the fifth heir to the Carlos family, Mexico's richest family, and Zhuke's partner. Hi, Zhuke, long time no see. As soon as Zhuke and Lima arrived at the reception, they were warmly welcomed by the host Rio Slim. Similarly, my friend, I heard that you are leaving Los Angeles. I am very reluctant. Zhuke is also very enthusiastic while talking. Zhu Ke also introduced his girlfriend Lima. Ha ha ha, I know. Adriana Lima, a very charming Victoria's Secret angel. Seriously, I think her leaving the runway is definitely a huge loss for the world. Ryle laughed. Hearing this, Zhu Ke gave him an angry look. Model, hey, it's all tears when I say it. The level of chaos in the modeling industry is even more dirty than the entertainment industry. Although Zhu Ke has no class concept, he is also a wealthy man with a net worth of more than $10 billion. If Lima wants to be with Zhu Ke, then he must give up his career as a model. This is for sure, not negotiable. Riddle, my friend, you leave Los Angeles before Christmas Eve this time and return to Mexico. Do you plan to come back again? Zhu Ke asked. Rio said solemnly, my friend, in the next 3 to 5 years, I will be in Mexico. Zhu Ke nodded, feeling clear the troubles of the big family. Rio Slim is the eldest grandson of Carlos Slim, the richest man in Mexico, and he's the fifth in line, not the only heir. The huge family wealth is naturally a fierce battle. Zhu Ke, who started from scratch, naturally has no such troubles. However, Rio's departure from Los Angeles is bound to be a big loss for Zhu Ke. Since 1997, on behalf of the Carlos Family Foundation, Rio has invested in as many as 9 films such as Memories, 300 Spartan, Spider-Man and so on. The total investment amount is not less than $130 million. Undoubtedly, he is one of the gold owners of Wald Pictures under Zhu Ke. My friend, once you leave, how can I find a friend as generous as you in the future? Zhu Ke shouted. Ha ha ha. Rio laughed and said, you really do not forget my money. However, you can rest assured that even if I leave Los Angeles, you will continue to invest in Wald Pictures movies. Speaking of which, Zhu Ke understood prior to this, Rio invested in Zhu Ke's films, using family funds, not personal wealth. But it's different from now on. As the saying goes, people take the tea to cool. Rio left Los Angeles, naturally unable to control the property of the Carlos Foundation in the United States again, but this does not prevent him from investing in Zhu Ke's movies again in his own name. Over the years, Rio has invested in Zhu Ke's films on behalf of the Family Foundation, and has made money in the 3 movies of 300 Spartan, Spider-Man, and Harry Potter alone. The Carlos Foundation, where Rio works, has netted no less than $50 million. I have to say that although you are stingy, business integrity is guaranteed. I can trust you to cooperate very much, Rio said again. Of course, Zhu Ke laughed. When it comes to business integrity, Zhu Ke is definitely well known in this point alone. Spielberg of Zuckerberg's DreamWorks Group is not much better, regardless of the fact that all kinds of external capitals are rushing to Hollywood, but with the experience of getting rid of more. They no longer want to believe in Hollywood's integrity. As a result, after the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis, it will be quite difficult for Hollywood studios to raise funds from outside. Zhu Ke played the sign of honesty in advance, and it will be relatively easy once he needs to raise funds from outside. No one has far-sighted. There must be near worries, Zhu Ke exclaimed. Throughout the reception, Rio was definitely the protagonist, and was greeted warmly by all guests in the same way. Zhu Ke is very popular. Mr. Wald, really young and promising. No. Mr. Wald and Miss Lima are a match made in heaven. Mr. Wald's investment vision is absolutely top-notch. There is not much else to say. It is the crisis caused by the internet bubble. Mr. Wald is one of the few people who can withdraw in time. Aren't you nonsense? I think Mr. Wald's greatest strength is to make Hollywood movies, especially the recent Harry Potter movies. My goodness, create a market industry worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Chain, this is definitely a genius idea. The compliments of the company executives and billionaires. Zhu Ke, who is used to seeing the big scene, was a bit unable to hold it for a while. What? Suddenly, Zhu Ke found a very interesting person among this group of people. Jeffrey Skilling. He is an executive of Enron Energy, one of the largest energy companies in North America, and not long ago, he was appointed as the next CEO of Enron. Enron Energy, one of the largest energy, goods and service companies in North America, has a market value of more than $100 billion. It was recently listed as the 7th Fortune 500 by Fortune magazine. However, at the end of 2001, Enron suddenly filed for bankruptcy protection in the New York Bankruptcy Court, and the case became the second largest bankruptcy case in American history. Enron, with a market value of hundreds of billions, collapsed. Zhu Ke does not know the cause of the Enron incident very well, but he clearly remembers one thing, that is, the Enron case, and the last person to be tried is the Jeffrey Skilling in front of him after trial. Skilling, 52, was sentenced to 24 years in prison and fined $18 million. At the same time, the wealth of up to $180 million that Skilling stolen from Enron will be recovered. Zhu looked at Skilling, who was smiling brightly in front of him, and couldn't help but think to himself, the Enron incident is definitely a promising opportunity to make money. A company with a market value of hundreds of billions collapsed, and the huge wealth brewing in it. You reading www.youcan'tchew.com can definitely attract anyone. Hey, it's a pity I didn't work in finance in my previous life. I only know a very vague outline of the Enron incident. I don't even know the specific cause and process. If you can know more information, you can definitely make a fortune from it. For a while, Zhu Ke couldn't help feeling a little regretful. However, at this moment, Zhu suddenly heard a long-lost voice. Ding dong, congratulations to the host. Get a hint for the future. Zhu Ke was overjoyed immediately. It's not about the Enron incident, right? However, Zhu was disappointed in the end. This message was not about Enron. The second update is sent. Chapter 435, Long-Lost System Tone. Ding dong, congratulations to the host. Get a hint for the future. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the list of people who hijacked the plane in the 9/11 incident. Obtain the Love, Death and Robot animated series with a detailed script content. Get a copy of the movie script of This Man Comes from Earth. Won the first volume of the Hunger Games trilogy. Won a contract for the main actors of the Warner Company Harry Potter crew in 2010. Zhu's mouth twitches. The last time the system appeared was in 1999, and the time difference is now more than 1 year. Suddenly this time, Zhu Ke was really caught off guard. If it does not appear, it will give 5 messages as soon as it appears. It can be said that the news appears the most once. However, the first piece of news scared Zhu. List of people who hijacked the plane in the 9/11 incident. Even if I know this, I dare not use it. Even if there is no news given by the system, Zhu Ke, as a traverser, knew about the 9/11 incident. On the morning of September 11, 2001, 2 civil aviation airliners hijacked by terrorists crashed into New York's World Trade Center Building 1 and World Trade Center Building 2 respectively. The 2 buildings collapsed after being attacked. The other 5 buildings in the center also collapsed and damaged due to the earthquake. At about 9 o'clock, another hijacked passenger plane crashed into the Pentagon building located in the Ministry of National Defense, which damaged and collapsed part of the structure. This incident caused nearly 3,000 casualties. The economic loss of the United States is more than $200 billion, equivalent to 2% of the GDP that year. The damage caused by this incident to the global economy even exceeded $1 trillion. The New York Stock Exchange, the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, and the London Stock Exchange, the stock prices of their listed companies have fallen one after another. In particular, the Nasdaq Index and the Dow Jones Index, which have just picked up, suffered a cliff-like decline. Before and after 9/11, engaging in the stock market would definitely make money, but who dares to do it during this period? As long as you make money from the stock market, you are bound to be investigated by the federal authorities. Well, if you make a lot of money, maybe you will be destroyed by humanity from beginning to end. Zhu knew about 9/11, but never expected to rely on it to make money. Fate to make money but not to spend. In a word, Zhu would never touch anything related to the 9/11 incident. Well, unless you want to die. Hey, a rare system prompt, but this message is considered useless. Zhu Ke secretly said in his heart the long-lost system provided 5 messages this time. Among them, the 2, 3, and 4 messages are the animated series of Love, Death and Robots, This Man Comes from the Earth, and the first volume of the Hunger Games trilogy. No, I have watched these 3 films and TV works. Zhu Ke's mouth raised slightly. The animated series Love, Death and Robots was produced by Netflix in 2019. There are only 18 episodes in the first season, and each episode is different. Each episode lasts 5 to 15 minutes. However, each episode of short films covers many types, including science fiction, fantasy, horror and comedy. At the same time, it fully displays the pessimism, adult orientation, and curiosity that popular works have always deliberately avoided. It is full of blood, violence, and horror elements that provoke adrenaline, and even mechas, monsters, science fiction, and cyberpunk are all thrown in, just to create a visual feast with multiple styles. As soon as it was broadcast, the content that opened its mind was greatly spread. This is not bad. The production of the animated series Love, Death and Robots is not difficult. The key is that it is very interesting. It can greatly enrich the background of my Water World animation company. At the same time, it can also attract a lot of people in the Up TV network premium channels. Zhu Ke decided to bring Love, Death and Robots, a work that was only born in 2019, to the world in advance. This Man Comes from Earth movie. It tells the story of a man who has survived from the age of the troglodyte to this world. It even says that at a certain period, he was called Jesus, and he had known Newton, Galileo and other characters. At the same time, all the objects in the home are antiques from all stages of history. To be honest, Zhu Ke is not very interested. This movie, which costs only $20,000, is called by many niche movie fans the most classic soft science fiction movie. This movie is actually the same thing. At first glance, it looks good. After thinking about it, I found that many aspects of it can't stand scrutiny at all. Many moviegoers believe that it can get a box office of more than $100 million, but in fact, in the original time and space, this movie has never been in theaters at all. It has only released offline DVDs and videotapes. The sales are good, with total sales exceeding $1 million in general. It is still a movie that has a lot of brains and is worth watching. What? Zhu Ke suddenly thought, if I have free time, I can entangle a bunch of Hollywood celebrities and star in this movie together. Anyway, it will take a short time. I have to say that at this moment Zhu Ke is full of evil interests. The first book of the Hunger Games trilogy. There is no doubt that apart from the unusable 911 incident, it is the most valuable existence provided by the system this time. The Hunger Games trilogy movie, well, the third The Hunger Games 3, Mockingjay, is divided into two parts. The box office alone, it won more than $2 billion in the world. As of 2020, its book sales have exceeded 30 million, compared with Harry Potter. The value it creates may be slightly inferior, but it is undoubtedly a valuable IP series. For a person like Zhu Ke who regards money as fate, how can he dislike it? Well, Babu will come a little bit more. Hey, it's a pity that the system only provides the first volume of the Hunger Games trilogy. However, Zhu Ke is not too entangled. The number of screenwriters in the entire Golden Dawn Entertainment Group is as many as nearly 100. Moreover, the Golden Dawn publishing under Zhu Ke definitely does not lack talented editors. With the first volume of The Hunger Games as the blueprint, and Zhu Ke has seen follow-up movies, it is possible to restore the follow-up content. The last piece of news is a contract for the main actors of the Warner Company Harry Potter crew in 2010. Seeing this, Zhu Ke couldn't help but utter aloud the actor contract signed between Warner and the Harry Potter triangle, which disclosed in detail the contract of box office dividends and net profit dividends was trapped. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2. It is clear that the global box office has exceeded $1 billion www.wuxiaspit.com, but the production company Warner's book shows a loss, making the leading actors a dime at a box office. Dividends cannot be obtained either. I have to say, enough for a chicken thief. What can Zhu Ke say? Of course, study hard. The production cost of each Hollywood film series is gradually increasing, reaching an extremely terrifying figure, among which the main problem is the pay of the actors. Let me pay more. There is no door. It's not that Zhu Ke is greedy, but many people are overly greedy, much more greedy than Zhu Ke. Of course, Zhu Ke is not entangled with these things now. It is already the end of 2020, and Zhu Ke has to consider some particularly important things, for example, to award options to senior executives of various subsidiaries, and even share allotments. The first update is sent. The update is late, sorry. Chapter 436, Overlord of Christmas Time. A theater in Los Angeles. There are so many movie audiences, including men and women, old and young, and there are too many movies to choose from, and for a while, there are many people who are caught in the entanglement of choices. What movie do you watch? Several young people around the age of 20 are now debating which movie to choose. What's so tangled about? If you want to watch a movie, naturally choose the most popular movie at the moment. For now, what movie can be more popular than Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? A coxcomb young man laughed. A blonde girl nodded in agreement. It is indeed. Many of my classmates have seen the Harry Potter movie and said it is very good looking. When the voice fell, several companions who accompanied them nodded in response. The Christmas time period can be described as a collection of excellent films, and there is absolutely no shortage of high-quality films, but the leader among them is naturally Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Men 100%, transformed into a king, chocolate and other movies. One of them counts as one, and they are all suppressed by Harry Potter as of today. The Harry Potter movie has been released in North America for 10 days and has earned $145 million in box office. Its North American box office exceeded $300 million, which is obvious, but on December 22, 2000, the movie Survival on the Deserted Island, starring two-time Oscar actor Tom Hanks, was released in North America. Many movie audiences, film critics, theaters, and film companies all think the Harry Potter movie, its biggest competitor during the Christmas season, has appeared. 20th Century Fox Pictures, the producer of Dead Island Survival, is also full of confidence in the film's box office performance. Murdoch personally went into battle and said to the media, "Dead Island Survival took 2 years to build, cost $90 million, and a publicity budget of up to $70 million. Even if compared with Harry Potter, it is not much yield." Zhe, the owner of New Line Films, also jumped out and said, "The Wilderness Survival will naturally win the market's approval." Don't forget, the director of the film is Robert Zemeckis. Robert Zemeckis is a well-known Hollywood director. He successively directed films such as Back to the Future trilogy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump, and so on, are well-known classic films. When I watch a movie, the first thing I see is who the director is. The director is Robert Zemeckis, then it's fine. The quality of the movies he knows is guaranteed. These are the words of a moviegoer looking at the Hollywood film market in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The director is naturally behind the scenes of the actors under the camera, and it is difficult to gain fame, but when the director becomes Robert Zemeckis, then he's himself box office guarantee. I also think the movie box office of Dead Island Survival may overtake Harry Potter. The person who said this was Harvey Weinstein, the president of Miramax Films. Harvey Weinstein is a senior producer, although his status in Hollywood cannot be compared with Zhu, Redstone, Murdoch, etc., but his professionalism in film is beyond doubt, he said. Tom Hanks is now one of the best actors in the United States and the world. His films have never lacked fans and fans. In addition, the excellent production and distribution party is 20th Century Fox Pictures. Well, I can't think of the possibility of it failing. For a time, the entire Hollywood colleagues sang praises to the movie Dead Island Survival. Really, in the 20th century, Fox took the initiative, and the number of cinemas for the movie Dead Island Survival reached 3,500 in one fell swoop. The number of 3,500 cinemas opened. It is much stronger than the Man 100% movie released by Paramount Pictures not long ago. However, when the 3-day box office results for the first weekend of Dead Island Survival came out, many people in the same industry were dumbfounded. $30.12 million, that's right. The box office score of the first weekend of the movie Dead Island Survival is just worth more than $30 million. What? This? No? This is the Christmas time. It stands to reason that the box office in the first 3 days of the first weekend exceeded $30 million, which is already a pretty good box office result, but it is a work jointly created by Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks. It shouldn't be the only one. A little box office, oh my god. The box office of Dead Island Survival in the first weekend was worth $30 million, compared with a box office of Harry Potter in the first weekend of more than $80 million. Is there such a big difference between the two? Many people were dumbfounded. Shay, the owner of New Line Films, who has always been jealous of Zhu Ke's achievements, almost didn't stare when he heard the news. Damn Zhu, this guy's luck is too good. God won't open his eyes. Shay was going crazy with jealousy. Murdoch, the media magnate, is not in any better mood at the moment. I was worried about this before, but I didn't expect the gap to be so big. Murdoch shook his head with a wry smile. Similarly, Tom Hanks, the two-time Oscar winner for Best Actor, couldn't help but bitterly said, "It's impossible to be successful if you are a man. I never worry about failure. However, I did not expect that I would lose to a group of children." You do not say. Many of the characters in the Harry Potter movie are just a group of children. Federal Express Company, it's incredible. Fred Smith, the founder and owner of FedEx, a super rich man with a net worth of billions, read the newspaper and laughed. "We spent $20 million in sponsorship for the movie Survival on a Deserted Island. The most important thing is to use 1,200 courier personnel to participate in this movie." In the end, they still lost to the Harry Potter movie. Fred Smith was smiling, but the group of people in front of him couldn't laugh. The money was not spent less, and people were not using less. Even the chairman of Fred Smith personally made a guest appearance in the movie, but he still lost. Think about it, man. No one will be happy after a change. Ho. Fred Smith let out a hearty laugh, and said, "Zhu Ke Wald's movie is well made." Then, We can lean towards Wald Pictures in the future in terms of implanting advertising. There is nothing wrong with this. At this moment, Hollywood studios, large and small, have understood a fact: the overlord of Christmas schedule in 2000 www.wooksiaspit.com is none other than Harry Potter. In the words of Disney chairman Michael Eisner, even Tom Hanks can't win this battle. Who else can stop the strong rise of Harry Potter this Christmas time? In fact, the same is true after Christmas. Hollywood will release many excellent films one after another, but whether it is Drug Network or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and other movies, they are all niche films, and they cannot have an impact on the box office of Harry Potter. Moreover, these films are at the end of December. The screenings are only on a small scale. Well, after all, these movies are Chong Austrian movies. The second update is sent. The author often confuses 2000 and 2020 when he writes the time. I am embarrassed. Thank you for your reminder. Chapter 437, Option Reward. December 26th, today is the first day after Christmas. It stands to reason that many workers in the United States are still in the state of a holiday today. However, Wald Pictures is different today. Whether it was President Bill Mitnick, Vice President Kevin Fitch, or senior executives from various departments of Wald Pictures, all of them canceled their vacations and gathered in the conference room. Vacation. The executive of the propaganda department, Buck Dayan, smiled and said, "Mr. Wald has rewarded big guys with options." At this time, who is still in the mood to take a vacation? Option rewards, isn't it true? Today, many people give up their vacations and gather for meetings. Aren't they just for option rewards? Looking at the large Hollywood studios, which senior executives will more or less have option rewards, otherwise they will only rely on salary and only a few dollars in that year's income. Barry Meyer, the CEO of Warner Brothers Pictures, a Warner Brothers company, has a salary income of more than $2 million a year, but with the dividends from the options, it is different. The annual income is at least $10,000 or more. Is the income over tens of millions of dollars a year? Of course, a lot. Many people, even if they work for a lifetime, can't make tens of millions of dollars. But if you look at the chairman of Disney, Michael Eisner, known as the Disney tyrant, according to incomplete statistics, excluding his income from Disney's shares is just his annual salary plus options plus dividends, as high as $49 million. Its income is the highest in Hollywood. So what about Mr. Mitnick's income this year? Suddenly, an executive from Wald Pictures spoke up. For a time, everyone's eyes in the entire conference room gathered on President Bill Mitnick. Old Bill smiled without saying a word. In fact, in 2000 alone, Old Bill's income was as high as $8 million annual salary, $1.5 million, dividends, $5 million, mainly for the producers of the two films Spider-Man and Harry Potter, subsidies. As the president of Wald Pictures, his various living allowances and benefits for a year in 2000 were also $500,000. Bonus. The person in charge of Wald Pictures, his year-round bonus, can be no less than seven-figure rewards. All add up to make up his annual income this year as high as $8 million. What about options? No, because before that, Zhu Ke hadn't given any Wald Pictures executives an option reward at all. I don't know, Mr. Kevin Fitch. How many options can I get this time? Production director Zack Snyder said suddenly. I'm curious too, the propaganda department executive Buck Dayan said again. Mr. Mitnick, as the president, will logically get the highest allocation of options. However, Mr. Mitnick will retire in a few days and will definitely not be able to obtain options. After a pause, he said, therefore, it is unquestionable that Mr. Kevin Fitch gets the highest option allocation. When the voice fell, everyone in the audience nodded. Wald Pictures was established at the end of 1995, and many of the executives present were people who started with Zhu Ke and were meritorious officials. Kevin Fitch, as the vice president of Wald Pictures, joined the company on January 1, 1997. Although the working hours are not as long as some senior executives, he has a high status. Not only that, before the old Bill joined the company, he also served as the acting president of Wald Pictures for a period of time. High-ranking authority. Talking about Kevin Fitch. Kevin Fitch is only 28 years old now. A few days later, he will be 29 years old. He is still very young. But looking at the whole Wald Pictures, no one will despise him because of his youth. After all, his ability and status are it's obvious to all, everyone. The matter is still undecided, but don't put a high hat on me too early. Kevin Fitch waved his hand quickly. Director Zack laughed and said, it's not early. This is definitely a certainty. Yes, Propaganda executive Buck Dianen echoed, Mr. Fitch, in my opinion, you will not only get the highest option allocation this time, but after Mr. Mitnick retires, he will be the president of Wald Pictures. It's you. As soon as the voice fell, everyone present joined in. That's right, it makes sense. In my opinion, Mr. Fitch is the most suitable place to take Mr. Mitnick's class. Mr. Mitnick made a huge contribution to the company during his tenure as the president of Wald Pictures, and all of this was supported by Mr. Fitch. Therefore, the next vacant position of president is Mr. Fitch the most suitable. One word for you, one word for me. Many people were elated, but old Bill was a little bit lonely. The option is not in my share. I am going to retire again. In fact, the old Bill actually wants to work for a few more years. Apart from anything else, the option rewards that may be worth tens of millions of dollars are worth everyone's struggle for a few more years. However, the body does not allow it. The old Bill is amazingly over 70 years old, and he is definitely an old group of people. What's more, during his tenure as the producer of Spider-Man and Harry Potter, he fainted many times. How can a person who is about to retire get an option? This is a truth that everyone knows. Of course, the old Bill was not too entangled. He has been in Hollywood for decades. He has seen many winds and waves. He has also reached a culmination with blue strands and fresh clothes on the road. He has read the many flowers in the world and gave pointers to the world Iron Horse Glacier. He has no regrets in his life. He doesn't lack money, but he really doesn't want to leave the film industry where he has struggled for decades. But his body doesn't allow it. Time passed slowly. Zhu Ke's here. Not only Zhu Ke came, but also the head office CEO Victor. Financial and legal personnel from the head office also came to the scene. Everyone, today is definitely a day worth remembering. As soon as Zhu Ke sat down, he started straight to the point. As early as the end of 1995, when I acquired Hughes Pictures and reorganized it into Wald Pictures, I once said that as long as you follow me and everyone works hard, it's definitely not a dream to shoot high-quality movies, and everyone can live in a luxury house and buy a luxury car. Right now, 5 years have passed. We have successfully filmed Lola Run, Juno, Human Elimination Project, Sixth Sense of Supernatural, Spartan 300 Warriors, Spider-Man, Harry Potter, etc. movies. The total box office won the world's cumulative total of more than $3 billion. Zhu Ke Wald has also gone from being a little kid to a well-known media tycoon, entertainment tycoon, and super rich with a net worth of tens of billions of dollars in the United States. And what about everyone here, now? www.uxiaspit.com. Which one is not an enviable executive in the entertainment industry with an annual salary of more than hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars? But, are these enough? Zhu Ke looked around and said loudly, 5 years ago, I promised that everyone who follows me will be able to live in a luxury house and buy a luxury car. Now, today, I will achieve this to you. The promise made is to give you options and dividends. As soon as the voice fell, the audience suddenly exploded. Everyone present, except for the old Bill who is about to retire. One of the next people counts as one, and they are all very excited. They are determined to follow Zhu Ke there. For what? Without money, everything is for nothing. Without money, there is no way to retain talent. The first update is sent. Chapter 438, The money is in place. Smile. Companies that always focus on slogans but never fulfill their promises are ultimately ruthless and will not last forever. Zhu can walk step by step to this day. In addition to the help of the system and its own unremitting efforts, it is through the struggle of one after another talents that have supported the company established by Zhu Ke, Victor, Ms. Donna, Sister Martha, Old Bill, Kevin Fitch, Zhang Wei, Taro Hashimoto. The team headed by these people, as many as thousands of workers, work day and night to make Zhu Ke become a famous Hollywood tycoon, media tycoon, and billionaire. Go rich. Don't forget each other. In other words, if you want them to continue to pay, you must give them a high return. Otherwise, why should others follow you? Option rewards. Zhu Ke seems to have lost a lot of money, but in the future, the value created by these people will be able to make Zhu Ke back several times, 10 times, and dozens of times. Options include stocks, government bonds, currencies, stock indexes, commodity futures, etc. And the option rewards Zhu Ke gives to everyone are undoubtedly the stock options of Wald Pictures. Everyone, do you know what percentage of the shares I have prepared for you? Zhu Ke looked around and smiled. New 81 Chinese network update. The fastest mobile terminal, HTTPS. How many shares? Suddenly, one of the people at the scene cheered up. 10%. Zhu Ke Wald said. New 81 Chinese network update the fastest computer terminal, https:// As soon as he said this, the audience was in an uproar. What? Kevin Fitch widened his eyes. Director Zack Schneider, who is in charge of the production department, also suddenly exclaimed, "Really?" According to the new issue of Fortune magazine, our overall ranking of Wald Pictures is 8th in the film and television industry. The company's market valuation is as high as $2.1 billion. In an instant, many people were not calm. Wald Pictures is valued at $2.1 billion, and Zhu Ke took out 10% of the shares this time, which means it is $210 million. This is definitely a big deal. Old Bill was shocked and said, "The most important thing is that Wald Pictures is in a stage of rapid development. It is worth $2.1 billion in just 5 years of establishment." With the Spider-Man and Harry Potter series with a continuous launch of the company, the overall value of our company is bound to rise to a higher level in the near future. That's right, propaganda executive Buck Dinnan echoed. 10% of the shares are now worth $210 million. 3 to 5 years later, their value will inevitably exceed $300 million or more. For a while, the executives in the entire conference room completely boiled over. According to their previous guesses, they believed that Zhu Ke would give out at most 3% of the shares as an option reward, but he never expected that it would be 10% of the shares. Greatly exceeded everyone's expectations. Haha. Zhu Ke looked at the reactions of the people, and said in his heart, "I am a stingy. This is correct, but I know that you are the ones who can make money from me, and you are the ones who can make a lot of money from me. You are stingy with you. This is not for me. Do you add to it yourself?" I have to say that although Zhu Ke is stingy, he knows the current situation. In the next time, all options awards and distribution issues will be handed over to the head office CEO Victor to be responsible for the announcement. The lawyer Zhang Wei and the head office financial sister Martha will be responsible for assisting the work at the same time. The company's legal department staff also elaborated on every clause of the option award. 1. The effective date of the option contract, since January 1, 2001, officially took effect. 2. After obtaining the option shares, within 3 years, no trading in any way is allowed. Prior to January 1, 2006, the options for sale and trading were limited to Zhu Ke himself, all of which were regarded as restricted options. Various options contract clauses, including restrictive clauses, as many as more than 30, can be described as extremely detailed. I took out 10% of the shares, yes. However, the power of the entire company is still firmly held in my hands. Zhu Ke thought to himself this time. Option awards worth $210 million are not all gifts among them. Only $100 million is in the form of gifts. The other $110 million of options are in the form of allotments, and they need to spend money to buy them. Then, will they spend money to buy it? Of course. Now everyone can see that Wald Pictures has a great future, especially during this Christmas season. Wald Pictures is the leader. Everything shows that the value of Wald Pictures will become greater and greater. How will they be? Let go of this opportunity to make money. Allocating shares and granting options are all Zhu Ke's preparations for Wald Pictures' future listing on the U.S. stock market. It is expected that Wald Pictures will be IPO listed around 2003-2006. Of course, all this is Zucker's own expectations. Time is passing fast in a blink of an eye. The 3-hour option allocation meeting finally ended. The entire Wald Pictures currently has more than 2,300 employees worldwide, of which as many as 500 were employed before January 1, 1998. As many as 220 of this group of people receive this time option rewards and allocation of places. For a while, the entire Wald Pictures industry boiled over and fell into a frantic carnival. The old Bill, who is about to retire, did not receive an option award, but he also received a high pension from Zhu Ke on behalf of the company, with a value of no less than $5 million. Sometimes, Zhu Ke is very kind. The next day Zhu Ke did not enjoy the leisure of the Christmas holiday, but rushed to the Baez Doll Factory. Baez Doll Factory, as a subsidiary of SpongeBob's surrounding chain stores, has not been established for a long time, less than 2 years, but the output value created in this short 2 years is definitely not lower than any subsidiary of Zucker as of the end of December 2000. The Baez Doll Factory had created a turnover of up to $2.6 billion in 1 year in 2000. The annual turnover exceeds $2.6 billion, which is definitely a very scary figure. Know that as the overlord of the doll industry, Mattel's Barbie dolls had annual sales of $10.3 billion in 2000. How about last year? Throughout last year, Mattel's annual sales of Barbie dolls were $12 billion. There is no doubt that the emergence of bias dolls has severely hit the sales of Barbie dolls and has become a sudden emergence, especially in November and December of 2000. The sales of bias dolls increased rapidly, occupying 35% of the doll market, which shocked the entire industry. The dominance of Barbie doll's solitary quest for defeat is gone forever. Barbie's biggest competitor has appeared. The bias doll has been so powerful in less than 2 years since it was born. I can't imagine how far it will develop after giving it a few more years. The entire industry was stunned. www.wuxiaspit.com Minds, CEO of toy overlord Mattel, even shouted, "Barbie dolls are the first choice for children all over the world. Bias dolls are heretics." However, Mattel CEO Minds' clamor is a true interpretation of incompetent rage. The development of Beth's doll has already shown an unstoppable posture. When Zhu came to the bias doll factory, the main person in charge, Hashimoto Taro, promised Zhu, "Boss, rest assured. This year's total revenue is $2.6 billion. Next year, I will let it exceed $3.5 billion. In the future, its annual revenue, I dare not say that it must surpass Mattel's Barbie doll, but I will definitely make its annual revenue exceed $6 billion, over $3.5 billion next year. In the future, annual revenue will exceed $6 billion. With words, Taro Hashimoto was full of confidence. Okay, Zhu Ke nodded heavily, and solemnly said, "I also give you a promise. By this time next year, Bias's annual revenue will exceed $3.5 billion. Everything you want will be realized, including option rewards." Hearing this, Hashimoto Taro was overjoyed. Immediately, Water World Animation Company is listed. The shares are not his business. Wald Pictures was established for 5 years, and it has given more than 200 people option rewards and assigned quotas, and he has no share. The little devil, Taro Hashimoto, said he was calm in his heart. He would definitely be a lie. The second update of his sent. Please support, cute. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439, Personal Wealth Inventory. 9 o'clock in the evening. Zhu is alone in the study at home, writing and drawing, planning the future of the company. Up to now, there are many companies under Zhu Ke, and there are even more companies holding shares. Golden Dawn Entertainment Group is the most important industry of Zhu Ke. Its subsidiaries include Wald Pictures, Upton Television Network, WB Television Network, Golden Shugwang Music, Golden Shugwang Publishing, Under Armour Sporting Goods Company, Manchester City Club, World Wrestling Entertainment Company, Baok Game Company, Water World Animation Company, SpongeBob SquarePants surrounding chain stores, including Beth's Doll Factory, Jinshu Opto Electronics, a total of 17 subsidiaries today. The entire Golden Dawn Entertainment Group has become a force that cannot be ignored in Hollywood, especially the overlord of the Christmas period in 2000, which has made Golden Dawn Entertainment the most popular from the perspective of profitability, media power, and distribution channel advantages. Golden Dawn Entertainment Group is definitely the top 10 media giant in the United States, and all this only took 5 years. Miracle, many American entrepreneurs said. This is a miracle, an incredible and jaw-dropping great initiative. In fact, Zhu himself is very proud of this. In June 1999, Golden Dawn Entertainment Group was valued at $3.26 billion. First release https://https, ranked 8th in overall strength among major Hollywood film companies, ranked 17th in the field of major media companies in the United States, but, now, after more than a year, it has already developed by leaps and bounds. In December 2000, according to a report in the latest issue of Fortune, the overall value of the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group was as high as $5.8 billion. Among the major Hollywood film companies, the overall strength ranks 7th, second only to the 6 Hollywood, and has surpassed MGM and DreamWorks. In the field of major media companies in the United States, it ranks among the top 10. And the ranking has climbed several places. This is definitely a great leap. After a lapse of 1.5 years, The overall market value of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group has risen from $3.26 billion to $5.8 billion in one fell swoop, an increase of more than $2.5 billion. The rapid growth has scared countless people. Fortune magazine published an article saying, since the bubble crisis, Mr. Zhu Ke Wald has acquired a large number of film and television companies, local television stations, and local radio stations, costing more than $300 million, and very fast mergers and acquisitions have entered the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group. From this point of view, Jinshuguang Entertainment's overall market value has risen, which is very reasonable. Secondly, the two films Spider-Man and Harry Potter are even more contributory. The two films have made great contributions to the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group. At the same time, with the hundreds of billions of dollars in books, movies, theme parks, and various industries around the Harry Potter series, we are very certain that at this time next year, the overall market value of the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, an additional $1 billion, or even $2 billion, is very likely. The most important thing is its subsidiary Waterworld Animation Company. Since its listing in November 1999, its market value has reached $1.9 billion in less than 5 years. Golden Dawn Entertainment Group will surely become a giant company with a market value of up to tens of billions of dollars. Fortune magazine gave Jinshuguang Entertainment Group a very high evaluation and won the recognition of many readers. However, Apple CEO Jobs snorted, "Fortune magazine is too conservative. According to what I know about Zhu Ke, this bastard, 5 years? He can't afford it. At most 3 years, Golden Dawn Entertainment will definitely become a market capitalization. Media companies with more than tens of billions of dollars, even higher market value." These remarks caused many people to shake their heads. They think Jobs is too exaggerated. However, those people who know Zhu, such as John Lasseter, Redstone, Murdoch, Old Billy, etc., agree with Jobs' remarks. Mattel CEO Mines said in a deep voice in the interview, Waterworld Animation has a market value of $1.9 billion, and Wald Pictures is valued at more than $2.1 billion, and these two alone add up to more than $4 billion. After a pause, he said, the TV group under the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, the UP TV network and the WBTV network under its jurisdiction, Fortune magazine said that it is worth $1.2 billion, but I want to say that it is far beyond this number. It is worth at least $2 billion. At the end, Mines said quietly, the revenue of the Baez doll factory in 2000 exceeded $2.5 billion. This alone is a company worth more than $3 billion. Say 1,000, say 10,000. Mines, CEO of Mattel, believes that the report given by Fortune magazine is completely lower than the actual value of the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group. Time magazine published an article saying, Golden Dawn Entertainment Group is a company with an overall valuation of more than $7 billion. That's right, Time magazine's overall market value estimate of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group far exceeds that of Fortune magazine, regardless of what the Fortune and Time magazine say. The Golden Dawn Entertainment Group still has a long way to go. Zhu Ke secretly said, you do not say you must know that in the early 2000s, AOL acquired Time Warner, but in the form of cash plus stocks. It gave a purchase price of $181 billion. Disney Group, its current market value exceeds $45 billion, and in September 2020, its market value is as high as nearly $240 billion. Compared with these giant companies, Jinshuguang Entertainment Group undoubtedly has a long way to go. Although Zhu Ke is a person who is deeply influenced by the small peasant thought www.wuxiaspit.com, he will never get overwhelmed. At most complacent for a while, Zhu's companies, in addition to the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, there are many holding companies: LinkedIn, California Standard Bank, McAfee, Antivirus, Software Company, Gale Capital, Eurostar Technology. As for companies with a small number of shares, there are more: Google, Amazon Mall, Apple, Mars. Well, of course, there is also a science and technology park with an initial investment of more than $2 billion. I don't know. Once I calculate it, my current net worth is nearly $15 billion. Moreover, this is because the current internet stocks and technology stocks are sluggish. Otherwise the net worth is more than $30 billion. Zhu Ke is also shocked. I have to say that Zhu Ke's current wealth is indeed shocking. New 81 Chinese network update: the fastest computer terminal, HTTPS, An internet bubble swept the world, causing the wealthiest people on the Forbes list to shrink severely. Bill Gates alone lost more than $50 billion in personal paper wealth. This is also the Forbes ranking release date has passed. Otherwise, I currently hold $15 billion of wealth, can be ranked in the top 20 of the world's richest list. The first update of is sent. Chapter 440. One pile of videos. December 27. The martial arts Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon film invested and shot by Wald Pictures was officially released in North America today, with 210 theaters open, 210 theaters with screenings. Don't be too small. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie is not a first-line Hollywood commercial blockbuster. Its target is the Oscars in March 2001. It is an Olympic film, this kind of Chongyao type of film. At the beginning of the show, it is released on a small scale, and it will never be released on a large scale at the same time. This movie is obviously a martial arts movie, but the type of movie it puts on the poster is science fiction and action-themed movies. Have no idea. Lau Mei's understanding is that those battle scenes that fly over the wall and jump tens of meters at every turn are considered to be anti-physical phenomena. In their view, things that are beyond the norm are supernatural phenomena. Naturally, the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie is of course a science fiction movie. Oh, you said Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie. I have seen it. Well, I bought a ticket to watch the first show at midnight yesterday, somewhere in Los Angeles on a street near the movie theater. A reporter from Zhu Ke's WBTV station was conducting a street interview. As far as I know, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is an Oriental movie. Its actors are from the Great Heavenly Dynasty, and most of the crew members are also Oriental. Do you understand? Oh, sorry, I mean, during the viewing process, have you encountered any difficulties in viewing the movie? The male reporter asked. The audience who faced the interview was a 30-year-old man named White Mane, currently working as a math teacher in a community middle school. I understand what you mean. Audience. White Man laughed and said, looking at overseas films released in the United States, it is difficult to get high box office simply because of language differences. Especially our audiences have a habit of not like watching subtitles. But Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is different. It has all English dialogues, which greatly reduces the difficulty of watching movies. That's right. From the beginning of the filming of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the actors and actresses of the film crew have all dialogues in English. In early July 2000, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was the first to be screened in the mainland market of the Great Heaven Dynasty. Many viewers complained about it because of dialogue problems. Lip and dialogue are not on the same channel at all. You do not say. It is said that when it was filmed, it was a dialogue in English, and the Chinese dubbing and subtitles in the later stage were of course not correct, so almost. The movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon hit the street at Daxianqiao Inland Market and Daxianqiao Wenwen Market. The mouth type and Chinese dialogue are too different. Many moviegoers, watching the movie, shook their heads. Of course, the main reason is that the core values of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movies are the mainstream values of the Western world. There is a big difference from the traditional martial arts thinking of the East, which is almost the opposite. However, there are also benefits, that is, Western movie audiences can greatly reduce the difficulty of watching the movie when watching the sci-fi movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Pros and cons coexist. In the words of producer Zheng Ziqiang, the production cost of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie is as high as $15 million. If the target market is compared with the Chinese market and the Southeast Asian market, it is very difficult to recover the cost. In order to win the box office, or in order to attract more movie audiences, we can only flood the core of the film with Western mainstream values and cater to the Western market in order to achieve maximum profitability. First issue https. I have to say that the goal of the crew of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is very clear, and that is to break into the mainstream Western market. It turned out, it succeeded. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie with a core of Western mainstream values and the dialogue in English can greatly reduce the difficulty of watching foreigners and greatly attract Western audiences to buy tickets. Is a success in itself. To allow a group of foreigners to watch the movie starring the Oriental actor, you can only play in your own circle forever. If you can't go abroad, then the market will never be expanded. Zhu Ke deeply agrees. Think about it. By 2020, there will be a lot of domestically produced films in the Great China film market, but they are unable to go abroad because of the distribution channels, but most of them are because the broom is self-reliant and dare not try many possibilities. It is more a matter of ideology. Wald Pictures today, There are not a few days since the president, the old Bill, officially retired. Old Bill is now handing over work with Kevin Fitch as the vice president. Kevin, I'm about to retire. Has the head office officially appointed you as the acting president of Wald Pictures? Has it been distributed? Old Bill asked. It hasn't come over yet. Upon hearing this, Kevin Fitch said, however, Mr. Victor Jones called me last night. Well, the official documents should be delivered tomorrow. Who? Old Bill sighed a long sigh, patted Kevin Fitch on the shoulder, and sighed, go ahead, Kevin. When I was your age, I was doing odd jobs on the set of a Hollywood crew. You much luckier than I am. After all, Mr. Wald is a man who dares to delegate power. I believe that you will do a great job in the future. Kevin Fitch nodded heavily. At the age of less than 30 years old, he is about to take control of this film and television entertainment company valued at more than $2.1 billion, and become the helm of this big ship. Looking at the entire Hollywood area, that is the only scorpion ship. Many people express envy for this. Kevin Fitch's former classmates and colleagues, in the gathering, all praised his achievements so far. After a work handover, Old Bill and Kevin Fitch talked about the Chongao film again. Today, the movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was released in 210 theaters in North America. At the same time, there are as many as 9 movies released today, without exception, all for the Oscar in March 2001, Old Bill said. 1 Greek letter omega, Greek letter omega, Greek letter omega, Greek letter chi ones, co. I have followed, Kevin Fitch responded, not only today www.wuxiaspit.com but also tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, a large number of movies, as many as 15 movies. Are all going for Oscars? Drug Network, Looking for Forest, Parting Ways, Everyone Becomes Famous. There are more than 20 movies, including local Hollywood movies in the United States, and movies from overseas countries and regions such as the Czech Republic, Germany, France, and Japan. The goals are all aimed at Oscars. Oscar awards have made many people think about it, but more is the economic benefits that Oscars can bring. According to incomplete statistics, since 1995, the box office growth just because of the Oscars has exceeded $160 million, which still does not include the economic impact of peripherals and DVDs. The huge benefits have attracted all filmmakers. For a while people are enjoying the Christmas holiday, many film companies have already set their sights on the upcoming Oscars. But, at this moment, on the American Bulletin Board pop music list, there was a thing that made many filmmakers look at each other. The song that grilled became the 5th place in this week's bulletin board to help pop music. The singer is Zhu Ke Wald? What the hell, what are you kidding? Jobs raised his brows straight. The second update of his sent, thanks to the monk's head lice, Tang Taizong of Journey to the West, I See the Bookworm, The Dancing Boy, and the book Friends Who Have No Nicknames for Their Rewards. Chapter 441, That Grill Fashion Store. Los Angeles. On a certain street, that grill fashion store opened today in a very low-key fashion. Oh, I said, Zhu Ke, you are really low-key. The talking man, from Zhuke's Burbank villa, has been complaining all the way to the present. Not by others, it's Zhu Ke's old friend, Condi, the former ace negotiator. Zhuke looked around and got out of the car at the sign of the security staff. Condi, although that grill fashion store is my own business, the current owner is Lima. And Lima, you know, the current level is only a half-hearted, new 81 Chinese network update, the fastest mobile terminal, HTTPS, you do not say. Lima has retired from the modeling industry. It has only been a year since she retired. Even before she retired, she started to study fashion design, but when it comes to the level, it is really hard to say. Hearing the words, Condi was immediately happy, and smiled. The design level of Lima is as good as you said. Zhuke shrugged and said, it's not that she is inferior, but she only sells products she designed. Did you know? So far, she has designed only 1 lady's bag and 1 winter trench coat. It's gone. Condi was stunned. Well, no more. Zhu Ke nodded heavily. Condi couldn't help but vomit. Then I finally understand. Why are you uncharacteristically low-key? In Condi's perception, Zhuke is the kind of person who speaks low-key, but often has a high-key style, and even likes to show off and scream. Can you keep a low profile this time? That grill fashion goods store, only opened 1. Yes, this is the only one in the world. In the investment project of that grill fashion store, Lima invested nearly $1 million, mainly for the purchase of real estate in the store. Zhu Ke also invested $1 million, occupying 49% of the shares, including personnel recruitment and so on. It can be said that grill fashion store is a small workshop right now, and it is the smallest investment and smallest industry owned by Zhu Ke. You and Lima don't plan to expand their business, so they both open a store, Kangdi said halfway, and changed his words. Well, when I did not say, after all, Lima does not sell other brands of goods. However, this shop, I have seen the future, it does not make money. Zhuke's old face stiffened and he rolled his eyes. Please, man, do you think I, a super rich man, need this store to make money? Candy haha direct music, 1 Greek letter omega Greek letter omega Greek letter omega, Greek letter chi ones, boss, welcome you, Mr. Candy, welcome, just entered that grill fashion store. Zhu Ke and Candy were warmly welcomed by the store staff. The head in-store employee, named Susan Rickener, is a 30-year-old woman who once worked in fashion stores such as LV and Burberry. Of course, her most recent career was as a public relations department for chain stores around SpongeBob SquarePants. The post of deputy supervisor. Susan, where's Lima? Zhu Ke asked after looking around. She is in the design room at the back. Susan replied. Zhuke did not delay immediately, and immediately stepped to the design room behind. As for Candy, they're all my own friends, so there is no need to say hello. Susan, you quit your job in the SpongeBob SquarePants house and just stay here, don't you think you are stubborn? Candy asked. Candy had known Susan before, and he knew what Susan was capable of apart from anything else. Susan previously served as the deputy director of the public relations department of the chain stores around SpongeBob SquarePants house, with an annual salary of at least $150,000. However, if you choose to be the store manager of that grill fashion store, your income will definitely drop sharply. The most important thing is that the space for personal development has been greatly reduced. Of course, the reason why Candy asked like this was because he had thoughts about Susan, a single woman. Haha, Susan looked at Candy, her eyes brightened, and smiled. Candy, do you think my future development will be low if I work for the boss? Girlfriend, suddenly, Candy suddenly realized you are great, this is undoubtedly a shortcut. Candy couldn't help but thumbs up. Not long, that grill fashion store was officially opened. Less than half an hour, Zhu Ke's invited friends also arrived one after another. The people invited this time are true friends, not business partners of course. Correspondingly, there will not be many people present today. John Lasseter and Andrew Stanton of Pixar Animation were the first two to arrive after Zhuke's arrival. Hi, congratulations. Lima. Lasseter gave Lima a big hug. Andrew Stanton is the same. Thank you for coming. Lima responded generously. Zhuke smiled and waved his hand. Okay, it's all my friends, don't be too polite. Lasseter suddenly laughed and said, that's right. But, Zhuke, you're low-key. It seems that you are not low-key. That's right, Andrew Stanton echoed. I saw the latest issue of the Billboard pop music chart. Good guy, you changed your career to become a singer. The single that Grill was on the charts this week. The top 5 are boss jobs. After knowing this, he shook his head. He didn't believe it at all. He even doubted life. Lasseter and Andrew frantically complained about Zhuke and jobs, especially for Jobs. They really didn't have the slightest scruples apart from anything else. If Jobs were to fire them both, then the entire 6 major Hollywood companies, including Zucker, would definitely be going crazy. Talent is rare. That grill fashion store has officially opened. After a while, 2 customers entered the store, a man and a woman, both young people. Obviously the relationship between boy and girl friends. Mary, the name of this fashion store is a bit interesting. It has the same name as the song That Grill. The boy Brownie laughed. The girl Mary couldn't help nodding her head and said, don't tell me, it's true. Hello, welcome to That Grill fashion store. The person who spoke www.wooksyaspit.com is not someone else, but it is John Lasseter, Andrew Stanton, and of course, Zhuke and Lima. Today is the first day of opening. In the morning session, all the employees in the store were in the back. The sales staff in the front were all Zhuke's friends. In their words, today is to work for Zhuke and Lima. Evil fun. Suddenly, the girl Mary couldn't help exclaiming, God! You are Mr. John Lasseter, really, boy Brownie? At this moment, facing such a surprised girlfriend Mary, the boy Brownie really had a question. The girl Mary jumped on the spot, pulled her boyfriend, and shouted, Brownie, he is Mr. John Lasseter, the director of the animated film Toy Story. What? Really? At this moment, the boy Brownie was also surprised. The girl Mary is 19 years old and has just entered Stanford University computer animation design for less than half a year. The reason why she chose animation design is because in 1995, she saw Toy Story in the movie theater and she thought crazy to join this industry. John Lasseter is undoubtedly an anime who Mary admires very much. Yes, I am the John Lasseter you said. Lasseter is also in a good mood. The first update of his sent. The update is late. Sin and Sin. Chapter 442, Production Plan for the First Half of 2001. Mary, who is only 19 years old this year, jumped up in surprise immediately after seeing John Lasseter's confession. Awesome, today is totally my lucky day. On the first day of 2001, I saw my idol. I was so happy. For a while, the girl Mary was excited. Boy Brownie is also very excited. Although he is not a fan of John Lasseter, nor is he a computer animation design professional, he also likes Toy Story animated films. Can you sign me? The girl Mary's eyes were glowing. Of course, John Lasseter let out a hearty laugh, and said, but, do I only need my signature? Andrew Stanton's signature, would you like it? While talking, Lasseter also glanced back at his partner Andrew. At this moment, the girl Mary looked away from Lasseter and finally saw the other people in the store. My God, you are Andrew Stanton. The girl Mary exclaimed again. Andrew Stanton's position in Pixar Animation Company is not to say that one person is less than 10,000 people. That is also the animation second only to John Lasseter, one of Pixar's 5 tigers. How is it that the Wave House gained a reputation? In 1998, Pixar produced the Bug Crisis animated film, which was jointly directed by John Lasseter and Andrew Stanton. Yes, pretty girl, do you want my autograph? Andrew laughed him upon hearing this. The girl Mary nodded excitedly. Her boyfriend Brownie also laughed ahem. At this moment, Zhu Ke let out a soft cough, and walked over at the right time. 2 people, I can sign, too. Zhu Ke made a self-proclaimed very warm smile. However, Zhu Ke did not get any response. Girl Mary, boy Brownie, well, the 2 of them don't even know Zhu Ke until Zhu Ke reported his family. The 2 of them suddenly realized. So you are Mr. Wald. The single that you just released is very good. Many friends around me like it very much. Brownie shouted. The girl Mary also nodded again and again. The name Zhu Ke Wald is indeed very well known in the United States, especially among young people, but not everyone knows, and understands Zhu Ke. After all, Zhu Ke is not everyone loves dollars. New 81 Chinese network update. The fastest computer terminal, HTTPS. Well, unless Zhu Ke becomes the richest man in the world. At the same time, while Zucker was busy with that grill fashion store, Wald Pictures was holding a New Year's meeting today. Bill officially resigned since he was old, and Kevin Fitch officially became the acting president of Wald Pictures Propaganda Department. Executive Buck Dinnan, Director of Production Department, Zack Schneider, Deputy Director of Production Department, Gavin O'Connor, and other executives, as many as 15 people, attended this New Year's meeting. Everyone, the year 2000 has passed. And the year 2001 has officially arrived. Kevin Feige sat on the head and said loudly, in 2000, we produced Butterfly Effect, Fatal Bend 3, Human Removal Project 2, Spider-Man, and throughout the whole year of 2000, Harry Potter and other movies have achieved global box office results of more than $1.7 billion, an increase of 32% year-on-year in 1999. The level of profitability ranks 7th in Hollywood. The voice falls suddenly. All the executives present applauded. The size of Wald Pictures is much worse than that of the Big Six in Hollywood, but the level of profitability can be second only to the Big Six. It has to be said that it is indeed a huge miracle. DreamWorks and MGM? Haha, the 2 of them are known as the top 6 companies in Hollywood. It may be said that the 2 of them can compete with Wald Pictures in terms of film financial derivatives, stock market, and peripheral profits. However, in terms of box office, the 2 of them can compete with Wald Pictures. Really not enough for Wald Pictures. The current strength of Wald Pictures is so powerful. Of course, Wald Pictures will inevitably become the target of Hollywood's 6 major strikes. However, with Zhu Ke's current strength, not to mention suppressing the 6 major Hollywood, but he can also resist any one of them. Very good, the executive of the propaganda department, Barker Dayan, smiled and said, Harry Potter has only been released in North America for half a month. After a while, it is a global box office of more than $500 million, even $600 million, $700 million. A high-grossing movie with $1. Zack Schneider nodded in agreement. It's very good. But I still ask, when will my movie Shark Beach be released? Mind, the Shark Beach movie was set up at the end of 1999, and it was completed as early as July 2000. This is the first film that Zack Snyder received a box office dividend as a director. He naturally paid close attention to it. In 1999, we launched My Grand Greek Wedding, 300 Spartan Warriors, Blair the Witch and other high-grossing movies. In 2000, we launched Spider-Man and Harry Potter movies. Then I would like to ask, in the new year, which movies are we going to shoot again? Gavin O'Connor asked. He is the deputy director of the production department of Wald Pictures. Since joining the company in 1996, he has participated in the production of many movies. He is definitely one of Zhu Ke's trustworthy servants. 1 Greek letter omega Greek letter omega Greek letter omega, Greek letter chi ones, co. In fact, in the original Time and Space, Gavin O'Connor is one of the most well-known directors and producers in the Hollywood movie circle. In 2011, the movie Warrior, in which Tom Hardy, played by Venom, played the leading role, was planned and directed by Gavin O'Connor. Now, the film Queen Wearing Prada that has just started to be filmed is also produced by Gavin O'Connor. What movie shall we make in the new year? Gavin O'Connor asked again. For a time, the eyes of all the executives on the scene were all focused on Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige smiled, took out a bunch of materials without any haste, and distributed them to the hands of every executive. Wald Pictures, shooting plan for the first half of 2001, 1. Dancing Out of My Life movie, 2. The Heart Attack by Anger movie, 3. Fast and Furious movie, 8. Death is Coming 2 movie. Only in the first half of 2001, Wald Pictures' new shooting plan included 8 new works in one fell swoop. If you add the 2 films that are currently being filmed, District 9 and The Queen Wearing Prada, Wald Pictures will shoot 10 films at the same time in the first half of 2001. www.uxiaspit.com has propaganda executive bucked in and took a deep breath, and said in astonishment, "Wald Pictures, we are now able to shoot 10 movies at the same time." Other executives also looked at Kevin Feige. Haha, Kevin Feige smiled and said, "Don't forget, boss acquired a number of Hollywood film and television companies 6 months ago. It can be said that the dilemma of our lack of manpower is gone forever." For a time, everyone was excited. The factors restricting the development of Wald Pictures include a serious lack of talents and manpower, which makes Wald Pictures unable to shoot more than 4 movies at the same time. However, there is no shortage of talents and manpower now. Zack Snyder was pleasantly surprised. "So, we will make no less than 15 movies this year. The probability is so," Kevin Feige responded with a smile. In the first half of the year, 10 movies were shot, and no less than 15 movies were shot in a year. Compared with the 6 major Hollywood movies that often shoot 20 to 30 movies a year, there may be a big gap, but compared to the past Wald Pictures, well, or compared with other second and third tier film companies, it definitely exceeds that. High output does not mean high profits. However, it also shows that Wald Pictures is walking on a glorious avenue. The second update of Ascent, please support. Chapter 443, Dancing Out of My Life. The next day, well, on the second day after Kevin Feige held the Wald Pictures New Year's conference, Zhu Ke, who is based in the head office of the Golden Shugwang Entertainment Group, received a detailed report of the conference. Wald Pictures, shooting plan for the first half of 2001, 1. Dancing Out of My Life movie, 2. The Heart Attack by Anger movie, 3. Fast and Furious movie, 8. Death is Coming 2 movie. Not bad. Hugh looked at the report of Wald Pictures' production plan for the first half of 2001, especially seeing that there will be as many as 10 films in the first half of the year, and he couldn't help but feel happy. Once upon a time, Wald Pictures started shooting 5 films at the same time, which was already at the limit, but now, 10 copies, at the same time, the project was established and 10 films were shot. From the perspective of production capacity alone, Wald Pictures is definitely no less than any of the 6 major Hollywood movies. This is definitely a huge improvement. However, now the quantity is available, but the quality needs to be improved. Zhu Ke has integrated and acquired a number of Hollywood film and television companies, and obtained a large number of film and television-related manpower and talents, which has made the production capacity of Wald Pictures rapidly expanded, but this has not been recognized by the market. A long way to go. Dancing Out of My Life movie series. When watching the film's upcoming project and production, Zhu Ke couldn't help but proudly said, "Is it Summit Entertainment? Patrick, is it? I have the intention to acquire you and pull you out of the quagmire of internet investment failure, but you have not only rejected it for my kindness, I still abused me in public media. Haha, I am not a generous person. To be precise, in the business environment, Sometimes it is necessary to compare and care about each other. An enterprise that fails to fight back or scolds back will definitely be treated as a soft persimmon in a business environment and will be bullied to death. Zhu Ke is a very hostile master. New 81 Chinese network update. The fastest computer terminal, https:// quotation mark. In the first 10 years after entering the 21st century, there are very few Hollywood song and dance movies that can be produced, that is, the Dance Out of My Life series, High School Musical series, Black Swan, Chicago, etc. A few of the movies. Now I have taken the Dance Out of My Life movie series from Summit Entertainment. Let me see how your Patrick rises so quickly. For a time, Zhu Ke was quite proud. Dancing Out of My Life series of movies. Zhu Ke watched 5 consecutive films in his last life. Although the plot of the series is old-fashioned, the beautiful dance really attracts the audience's attention, and one is more exciting and atmospheric than the other. Dance Out of My Life, one movie, with a production cost of $10 million, has achieved a global box office score of more than $100 million, and has blinded many people. The Dance Out of My Life 2 movie hit a new high and won a global box office of $130 million. Dancing Out of My Life 3 also scored $160 million in the box office, steadily climbing. As we all know, in the environment where sequel films are flooded, it is often the case that a box office and word-of-mouth decline are very common. And the Dance Out of My Life film series can break convention and prejudice, which is really valuable. Since there is a musical Dancing Out of My Life, you might as well plagiarize Disney's High School Musical series of movies. Zhu Ke secretly set in his heart in the original time and space. The High School Musical movie series definitely has great popularity. The 2 films High School Musical 1 and High School Musical 2 are TV movies, which are played on TV platforms. They are not registered in the theater market because they target 12 to 16-year-olds. Especially the High School Musical 1 TV movie has been watched by more than 60 million people across the United States, and the global viewership has reached 250 million. Undoubtedly, it has set an amazing number of ratings. ABC TV, a subsidiary of the Disney Group, makes a profit just by selling advertising fees for broadcast time. So, the movie High School Musical 3 changed its position from the small TV screen in one fell swoop, and was moved to the cinema. But the result, Pump on the Street, the production cost of High School Musical 3 is as high as $35 million, and the publicity expenditure is as high as $50 million. During this period, the Disney Group used a lot of power, but in the end the global box office of the film was only more than $63 million. Disney blood loss. Okay, regardless of its box office, grab it first. As for broadcasting on the TV platform or landing on the theater market, I will talk about it when the time comes. Zhu Ke thought for a while, and there was no more entanglement. Chicago and Black Swan. The fame of these 2 films is needless to say, and Gu has made great achievements in the Oscar awards. Actress Natalie Portman also won the 2011 Oscar for Best Actress for her role as the heroine of Black Swan. However, Zhu Ke is currently facing 2 movies and really doesn't have much thoughts. In 2002, Chicago, with a production cost of $45 million, was released. Under the operation of Miramax president Harvey Weinstein, it won more than 10 international film awards in a row and won the Oscar of the Year. The Best Film Award, The World reported a box office of $170 million. Zhu curled his lips and said, "The Chicago movie put it bluntly, it is the result of hype and packaging. The Fast and Furious movie should be shot early, and I will try to finish it this year." As early as a few years ago, Zhu Ke quietly registered the copyright of the movie. After all, it is a high-grossing movie series. Especially since Fast and Furious 5, every box office result has been very good. Pirates of the Caribbean. With the current production capabilities of Wald Pictures, we are fully capable of opening another Pirates of the Caribbean movie. While preparing for Spider-Man 2 and Harry Potter 2, absolute male protagonist Johnny Depp, there is no free time this year, you do not say. Although Johnny Depp has not yet become a first-line actor in Hollywood, he is not short of film appointments. His schedule has been arranged until the end of 2001. If you want to start making a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, www.uxiaspit.com. I can only wait until 2002. Zhu can't help it. Captain Jack, played by John Depp, is definitely the soul of Pirates of the Caribbean. A sissy Captain Jack with smoky makeup and walking frantically is definitely an extremely charming character in movie history. Without him, John Depp, absolutely not. The fastest full text of Cyrillic letter M, Z, Go. What? Suddenly, Zhu Ke saw a very interesting movie in the report on Wald Pictures' plan produced in the first half of 2001, Anger Attacks the Heart. The film tells about Guoda, oh, no, Schiffer, played by Jason Statham, is tired of his life as a killer and wants to retreat with his girlfriend and start a new life, but he is not tolerated. He was injected with poison in his sleep, a poison that must be kept alive, otherwise he will not survive for an hour. His girlfriend is also in a trap. In order to save his girlfriend and his own life, he must drag the poisoned body and wipe out everything obstacle. This movie is an absolute action movie. Explosion, speed, blood, fight, gunfight, can be said to be a collection of all the elements of action movies, and it is extremely hot. Jason Statham, the actor of, has gained great fame and popularity in one fell swoop with the film Rage Attacks the Heart, and has established his position as a first-line Hollywood action actor in one fell swoop. The first update of Ascent. Chapter 444. Two more generals. Night, Los Angeles, an apartment. At this moment, there are two young people in the living room, chatting passionately about the future. Oh my God, Brian, please be sure to tell me again, I'm not daydreaming, Mark Nevelding said, holding back his excitement. Hearing this, the elegant young man sitting on the opposite sofa patted his forehead wordlessly and waved his hand. Please, man. You have asked me no less than 100 times with this sentence. Mark Nevelding, guilty, said, I know I'm a little nervous, and some incoherent, but you should understand me. God. The script of Anger and Heart Attack, since the two of us worked together to complete it, it has been 3 in a year, I moved to more than a dozen film companies. I never imagined that the famous Wald Pictures would actually match our script. In the words, Mark is still very excited. He thinks he is so lucky and so happy. Understand, I understand, man, the elegant young man said solemnly. Mark Nevelding, who is less than 30 years old, is a screenwriter and actor who entered the entertainment industry in 1998. Of course, he now appears in Hollywood film and television dramas and movies as dragon characters, and at most he also plays small roles with a few lines. Sometimes he does not show his face, and even the scenes he starred in were cut off. It was also from Jet Fuel Thing. It can be said that Mark Nevelding failed to accomplish his role as an actor. However, he is not reconciled. Actor, haha, only being a director and producer is my dream. One day, I will become a Hollywood director, surely. This is what Mark Nevelding often says in the future. He succeeded. He succeeded as a director, but that was in 2006, when his self-written and directed film Rage Heart was released successfully, and then he became the director of Ghost Rider 2. Brian, trust me, this time we will be successful. Mark Nevelding stared at the opposite partner with scorching eyes. I believe in you, just want to believe in myself. The elegant young man named Brian Taylor, 29 years old, is a composer, conductor, music producer, and performer. Starting Brian continued, my grandfather Walter Taylor is a very successful composer. He completed the main soundtrack of the famous Battle of Midway film and has won the Oscar for Best Art Direction. Influenced by my grandpa, my music career started very early. When I was 12 years old, I began to travel around the United States and Russia, performing my own music. In the following years, I began to play in teams and try various kinds of music. Musical instruments, including piano, guitar, mandolin, keyboard, drum, but my favorite is still movies. Whenever I think of those movies that have won high box office and high reputation, and the soundtrack work is done by me, I can't help but get excited. Refined. Go aside. Before graduating from Brian Taylor University, he received invitations from a number of musical theater companies, but he refused them all. As he said, he wanted to become a film soundtrack worker. In fact, he succeeded in the future and it was extremely successful. First release https://https:// Reaper is Coming series, Fast and Furious series, Expendables, Now You See Me, Hell Detective, Alien vs. Predator 2, Iron Man series, Avenger series, among so many films. Brian Taylor is either the first producer of the crew's soundtrack work, or a very involved soundtrack worker. It is no exaggeration to say that since 2006, Brian has quickly risen in Hollywood and has become the top soundtrack master, second only to Hans Zimmer. Brian, tomorrow we will officially sign a contract with Wald Pictures. I think I will be excited to sleep tonight. Mark Nevelding started talking again. No way, he is so excited. Brian helplessly, suddenly proposed, should we have some wine? Snapped. Mark Neville clapped his hands excitedly. Good idea. The next day Wald Pictures' Mark Nevelding and Brian Taylor arrived at the Wald Studios building early, and they couldn't wait to complete the contract. Welcome to the two of you for Wald Pictures. The person in charge of signing the contract is indeed Zack Snyder, the director of the production department and the director. It's nice to meet you, Director Zack. I really like your Spartan 300 movie, especially your scheduling of lens colors. God, you are so outstanding, Mark Nevelding praised. Mark is not a director now, but it does not prevent him from having a director dream undoubtedly. Zack Snyder is a director he's looking forward to very much, Brian Taylor echoed. The soundtrack of the Spartan 300 Warriors movie is also very good. If possible, I hope to communicate. Ha ha ha, of course you can. Zack let out a hearty laugh, and said, however, at the moment, I think it is better to sign the contract for the Angry movie as soon as possible. Hearing this, Mark and Brian nodded quickly. Soon, under the witness of the lawyers of both sides, the sale of angered scripts, including the contract with Mark Nevelding as the director of the film, and the contract with Brian Taylor as the producer of the late music score, were signed and completed. 1. The Anger Attacking the Heart script. Wald Pictures spent $60,000 to obtain the full copyright. 2. Mark Nevelding served as the director of an Angry movie, with a salary of $170,000. 3. Brian Taylor is the post-production music score producer for the Anger and Heartbreaking film, with a salary of $200,000. There are as many as dozens of various clauses, and the cost of production is $12 million. Mark, your director's pay is only $170,000. Don't be too small. Zack Snyder laughed. Hearing this, Mark shook his head and smiled. As far as I know, www.wooksiaspit.com, when you filmed your first movie Hard Candy for Wald Pictures, Mark was paid only $150,000. I am now it's $20,000 more than you. Say, what's wrong with me? You know, Zack showed a look of interest. Haha, Mark smiled and said, I said before, I am your fan. Isn't it normal for a fan to follow idle messages? He really has no dissatisfaction. The director's salary is $150,000. For Mark, who has never directed a Hollywood movie, it is definitely a price that meets the market price. Brian Taylor is the post-production music score producer for the Angry film, with a salary of $200,000. It is $30,000 more than Mark, which is normal. After all, Brian is already a genius with a reputation at this moment. The office door was knocked. The person who walked in is indeed Zhuke. An hour later, Zhuke solemnly extended an invitation to both Mark and Brian. You heard me right, Zhuke solemnly said. I'm just inviting you to join Wald Pictures. You are talent. Zhuke certainly needs it very much, especially Brian Taylor. In the original Time and Space, he was the main soundtrack producer for the Fast and Furious film series. Now that Fast and Furious is about to start filming, it is time for him to join Second More Scent. Chapter 445, Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson. A few days later, Jason Statham, Kevin Fitch whispered the name. He didn't know how his boss Zhu Ke matched the actor and recommended him to become the angry and heart-wrenching actor who just started the project. After all, Jason Statham is an older Hollywood rookie actor who has been in the industry for only 3 years, but he is already 34 years old. Where did the boss learn about this? Jason Statham, according to the information, he was once a member of the British national diving team and played for it for 12 years. The best result was the 1992 Diving World Championships, where he won 12th place. Soon after, he retired from the diving team in 1998. He entered the entertainment industry and was appreciated by the British director Guy Ritchie. He was able to star in Two Big Smokers and play the male number 3. Became famous in one fell swoop. After 2000, I left the British mainland and moved to Hollywood to develop, mostly playing supporting roles. After entering Hollywood, his best achievement was the abduction and robbery film that was released not long ago. The director of the film is still Guy Ritchie, who appreciates him, and the leading actor is Brad Pitt. Jason Statham still plays the male role. Number 3, with a production cost of $10 million, the film won a box office of $80 million. This is the pinnacle of Jason Statham. Kevin Fitch looked at the information in his hand and couldn't help but be surprised why, although Jason Statham is an older rookie actor, his popularity is quite fast. Well, I don't deny that it's mainly the appreciation of director Guy Ritchie. However, it can also show that he has something commendable. It seems that he is indeed a tough male actor, suitable for starring in action movies such as Anger and Heart Attack. The boss's vision is as accurate as always. Genius remembers Chinese MX/8/1/ZWCOM. Kevin Fitch sighed very much. The next day in a house in downtown Los Angeles. Jason, this is great news. Agent Finley rushed into Jason Statham's house. Oh. What good news? Did you get a good appointment for me again? Jason Statham took off his shirt and wiped the sweat off his body. He had just finished working out. You guessed it, Agent Finley exclaimed with joy on his face. This time the audition invitation is not a crew of stinky fish and shrimps. It is an invitation from director James Wong personally to you. Upon hearing this, Jason Statham suddenly wondered, Director James Wong, is the director who shot Death for Wald Pictures? Yes, it's him. Agent Finley nodded heavily at this moment. Jason Statham, who is 34 years old, is also holding back his excitement. Man, this is Wald Pictures. Looking at the entire Hollywood, who doesn't know that Wald Pictures is famous for using newcomers? At the same time as the release of a good film, a group of actors and actresses became popular. Tobey Maguire, the leading actor in the Spider-Man movie, was just a small famous actor before he played the role of Peter Parker. But what about now? He's the most popular fried chicken in the United States, and even on a global scale, he is also one of the most popular. Wald Pictures is definitely the first choice of many young actors, unwilling to be lonely actors. Awesome. Jason Statham squeezed his fists excitedly. That's not right, Jason. At this moment, the agent Finley said quietly. The person who invited you to audition is director James Wong. That's right. But, the producer is not Wald Pictures, Jason Statham. If a basin of cold water is poured down, after some explanation, I finally explained the matter clearly. Chinese director Wang Yiu, or James Wong, who is shooting Death for Wald Pictures, has become famous in one fell swoop. New 81 Chinese network update. The fastest mobile terminal, HTTPS. Not long ago, he accepted an invitation from Hollywood's second-tier film company Revolutionary Films to serve as the director of the Universe Wanted Order. At the same time, the actor of the film is played by Jet Li. In other words, the role I auditioned for is still a supporting role. Jason Statham showed a small, bitter look in his eyes. Supporting role. Jason Statham has been playing supporting roles in many movies shortly after he entered the industry, but he is not willing to only play supporting roles. He wants to be the protagonist of a movie, even if the investment in this movie is small. Broker Finley, for a time, the atmosphere in the room was a bit solemn. Is there really no one invited me to be the actor of a movie? My requirements are not high, even if it is a small investment. A movie with an investment amount of only a few $1 million, I am willing. Jason was a little unwilling. Ding ding ding. At this moment, the phone of Agent Finley rang. Hello, my name is Finley. You are. Hello, Mr. Fitch. It is a pleasure to meet you. I am very honored. Yes, I am Jason Statham's agent. What? Is this true? Well, I must tell him. No, we will be on time for the sight class. After the call, the agent Finley tightly squeezed the phone in his hand, breathing intensified, his eyes burning like flames and staring at Jason Statham in front of him. Hey man, what are you doing? Jason looked at Finley's gaze and couldn't help feeling panicked and hailed the agent. Finley took a deep breath and yelled with all his strength, Jason, our luck is coming. Just now, the new president of Wald Pictures, Kevin Fitch, personally called, invites you to audition for an angry heart attack movie. And, it's the male lead, Wald Pictures, the actor's audition. For an instant, Jason Statham was going crazy with excitement. At the same time, an advertisement shooting scene in a place in New York. Don Johnson, who has just finished filming a sports product advertisement and known as the Big Stone, is taking a rest at the moment. Johnson, do you really plan to be a supporting role in Wald's newly opened movie? You reading www.uucan'tchoo.com. Assistant Bach frowned. Bach is an assistant. It is reasonable to say that he should have no status. However, his name is Bach Johnson, the uncle of Dashi Johnson, and the identity of an elder. He does not approve of Dashi Johnson's anger in the new film of Wald Pictures, and only serves as a small supporting role. Johnson, you know, although you have just joined the entertainment industry not long ago, you starred in the famous Mummy 2 movie as the role of Scorpion King. Yes, the Scorpion King has less than 10 minutes of footage in Mummy 2. However, both the director Stephen Sommers, the Universal Pictures producers James Jackson and Sean Daniel have publicly stated that they will make a movie featuring the Scorpion King for you, Johnson. That's one of Universal Pictures and Hollywood's top 6. You know, what kind of attitude Universal Pictures has toward Wald Pictures now is that it is showing a trend of suppression. If you starred in the Anger and Heart Attack, then Universal Pictures' Scorpion King movie, but nothing will happen to you. Bach expressed strong opposition. Wald Pictures is developing very fast, but cannot compare with Universal Pictures. In box view, it is natural to hug the thigh of Universal Pictures. Well, I will decline Wald Pictures' invitation later. In the end, Dashi Johnson was persuaded by his uncle. The first update is sent. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 446, Global Come to Dig the Foot of the Wall. Wald Pictures. The president runs a company, so Don Johnson voluntarily gave up the audition invitation for The Heart of Anger. The new president Kevin Fitch's tone was full of indifference. That's right, Gavin O'Connor, the deputy director of the production department, said coldly, "It stands to reason that the production company has the right to select actors, and the actors also have the right to accept and reject. This is normal. However, as far as I know, the reason for rejecting us is because he embraced the thigh of Universal Group." With words, Gavin O'Connor was quite angry. Gavin continued, "I am so optimistic about him, and so is the boss. Since 1998, when he appeared in the movie Spartan 300 Warriors, we have given him opportunities in many movies, and even he appeared in Universal Pictures. The Mummy, the part of the Scorpion King in 2, is also due to our efforts, but what about him? Universal Pictures threw him a bone, so he ran over and completely abandoned us. Wald Pictures, who was kind to him, tisk tusk. I really am an unfamiliar white-eyed wolf." Gavin O'Connor is very angry. The production cost of the film The Heart of Anger is only $12 million, which is not as good as the olive branch thrown by Universal Pictures, but whether it was Zhu himself, or Kevin Fitch and Gavin O'Connor, they had high hopes for Dwayne Johnson. Even the Fast and Furious movie, which has just been established and is still in the finalization stage of the script, intends to let him be one of the leading actors, one of the heroes of Fast and Furious. What can you say? "Of course it is a substitution," Kevin Fitch said in a final word. "That's right. Since he can't look down on us, then we don't have to cooperate with him anymore. Let that guy die." Gavin O'Connor agreed extremely. Shortly after, Zhu Ke, who is in the villa at home, also learned the news. Zhu was not very angry, not as impatient as Gavin O'Connor, but rather indifferently said, "From now on, all cooperation with Dwayne Johnson will be cancelled." Even, Zhu Ke immediately called World Wrestling Entertainment, and ordered, "Immediately remove all propaganda about Dwayne Johnson." Don Johnson, known as Big Rock, is a celebrity who came out of In order to expand the influence of it is natural to promote him. This is a win-win thing as for now. Haha. Humph. Zhu put down the phone and snorted coldly. "That means I have a better temper now, otherwise I will definitely scold him." Indeed, according to Zhu Ke's original insulting temperament, he may not be able to do anything big. In fact, it can be considered the luck of Dashi Johnson as far as the current situation in Hollywood is concerned. Wald Pictures is a second-tier top company, second only to Hollywood's Big Six, surpassing DreamWorks and MGM, and its development trend is extremely alarming. Similarly, Wald Pictures is impressive. It has also become the #1 target of Hollywood's 6 major strikes, exclusion and suppression. Plus, Zhu Ke really has no friendship with Universal Group. Otherwise, Zhu will definitely block Dashi Johnson in the first place. A restaurant in the Burbank area of Los Angeles. Dashi Johnson's uncle Bach Johnson, senior producer James Jackson, Sean Daniel of Universal Group, dine and discuss together. Block, James Jacks, producer of Universal Group, jokingly said, "Haha. It's not that I despise him." Zhu Wald and Kevin Fitch. Zhu Wald is rich, and super rich. But he still can't affect our global group. After a pause, he said, "Don't worry, we promise to let Johnson be the protagonist of the Scorpion King movie, and we will never break our promise." "That's good." Dashi Johnson's uncle Bach Johnson was obviously relieved after getting the promise. He and Dashi Johnson put aside Wald Pictures and embraced Universal's thighs, but also worried about Zhu's revenge. As everyone knows, Zhu Ke is a man who must avenge his revenge. Think of Zucker's former adversary. Which one of them hasn't suffered revenge from Zhu? McAfee, antivirus, software company founder George Samanuk. Where is it now? He is now kicked out of the company by Zhu Ke and relieved of all positions. Steve Bing, one of the super prodigal sons of the United States, once scolded Zucker publicly. What about now? Since then, he and his friend ICQ's Wister have parted ways. The film companies he founded have released movies, and they have been suppressed by Wald Pictures. The full text of the article is the fastest, Cyrillic letter M. Co-Mailer Dand, the founder of the original Fox Pictures animation department and the current founder of Lighting Entertainment, has played with Zucker. What about now? Half of the talents in its entrepreneurial team were pried away by Zhu Ke. Such acts of revenge, Zhu Ke did not do less. It can be said that it is not uncommon. Don't worry, Bach, you and Johnson should put your heart in your stomach. It's okay. For now, it's not just that Universal is targeting and suppressing Wald Pictures, the 6 major Hollywood companies, and the 20th Century Fox Pictures and Paramount Pictures have made their moves. Others, Columbia and Warner, Disney, even DreamWorks and MGM, which one does not want to knock Zhu Ke Wald himself and his company to death? Universal producer James Jacks continued, verbally disdainful of Wald Pictures at this time. Sean Daniel, also a senior producer at the Universal Group, echoed, "Do you think Dashi Johnson is our first step against Wald Pictures? If you think it is, then look down on it. Us." Haha. Suddenly, Bach was shocked. In the following time, James Jacks and Sean Daniel revealed some news in a small way. After 2000, since France's Vivendi Water Company acquired Universal Group has launched a series of actions against Wald Pictures director Zack Schneider. Michelson, the vice president of Universal Pictures, once digged the wall himself, but was rejected by Zack Schneider. Zuck did not treat Zack Schneider badly either. Not only gave him box office dividends from the Shark Beach movie, but also invited him to be the director of the production department of Wald Pictures. Director Christopher Nolan, Universal Pictures and Warner Brothers Pictures have also come here to dig in headquarters. Jinshuguang Entertainment Group, and its subsidiaries Wald Pictures, TV Group, Jinshuguang Publishing, Jinshuguang Music, Under Armour Sports Goods Company, Waterworld Animation Company, one of them counts as one. Since 2000, they have encountered the 6 major Hollywood digging behaviors thanks to Zuke's rapid actions after the internet bubble www.wuxiaspit.com. He quickly acquired many Hollywood film and television companies, many local TV stations and radio stations, and even became a shareholder of one of the largest media groups in the United States. Especially, it supplements the lack of manpower and talents. Otherwise, there will definitely be a large number of brain drains in Jinshuguang Group and its subsidiaries. A genius remembers Chinese MX/8/1/ZWCOM. Zhu Ke Wald is really amazing. Bach Johnson couldn't help but sigh. Of course, Universal Group producer James Jacks solemnly said, if he is not great, then he will not create an entertainment industry company second only to Hollywood's 6 in just over 5 years. Sean Daniel, also a senior producer of the Universal Group, echoed, even the French Vivendi Group, the parent company of the Universal Group, attaches great importance to that guy Zucker. The wind and rain are coming, since Wald Pictures replaced DreamWorks and MGM, and became an existence second only to Hollywood's Big 6. Since that day, the entire Wald Pictures, the entire Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, and even Zhu Ke himself, all inevitably fall into the suppression of a group of vested interests. Black clouds are pressing down on the city, wanting to destroy it. Entering 2001, it has become an established fact that multiple forces strangling Zhu Ke's industry. Dashi Johnson's job-hopping and thigh-hug behaviors are nothing more than small and insignificant movements. The second update of his scent. Chapter 447. One class at the University of Southern California. January 15. The Christmas holiday has been over for a long time, and countless people have begun a new round of work. However, the North American box office market has not been depressed because of the working day. Instead, it has shown an intensified form. School of Film and Television, University of Southern California. As a well-known film and television college in the United States and even the world, it has always been the first choice for countless people who want to enter the entertainment industry, whether it is directors, actors, producers, dubbing, scoring, photography, etc. talents in various fields, or even you can see a lot of theoretical talents engaged in film theory research and film history research. Among them, the most well-known alumni are the director Spielberg, and the director of Star Wars and the owner of the Industrial Light and Magic special effects company George Lucas, especially George Lucas. In 2006, George Lucas donated $175 million to his alma mater. This is the highest donation received by the School of Motion Picture Arts at the University of Southern California, and the 5th single donation exceeding $100 million. Note, the School of Film and Television of the University of Southern California will be renamed in 2006, and the name will be changed to the School of Film and Art of the University of Southern California. In one of the classrooms at this moment, Monica, professor of acting department, is teaching 28 students in her class. The students also listen to the class seriously. After all, Professor Monica is very beautiful. She is only 30 years old, with red hair, and her whole body is different from a girl's familiar rhyme, full of intellectual brilliance in the words of the classmates. That is because this is a small class. Otherwise, if it is replaced by a large class in a stepped classroom, the boys from the whole school will flock. Well, who made our Professor Monica be? It's so beautiful. In class, first of all, let's talk about the Christmas schedule that just passed in 2000. Facing 28 students from the acting department, Professor Monica said loudly, "When it comes to the Christmas schedule that just passed, we can't help but mention the movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, produced by German Pictures, directed by Chris Columbus, starring several small actors such as Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson. As of now, the Harry Potter movie has been released in North America for a month, so, what about its box office? I wonder if any classmates can tell me." As soon as the voice fell, more than a dozen classmates rushed to answer questions. A genius remembers Chinese MX/8/1/ZWCOM. Of course, this is because it was the beautiful Professor Monica's question. Otherwise, there would never be so many students in attendance. Aileen, your answer? Professor Monica called. Yes, Professor. A girl named Irene stood up confidently and replied, "As of now, the 1-month-long Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone movie has now achieved more than $265 million at the box office. Overseas countries and film markets in various regions have also earned more than $350 million in box office. At the same time, according to the analysis data provided by the Comcast Data Center, the final North American box office performance of the Harry Potter movie should exceed $300 million. The cumulative global box office data exceeds $800 million, or even $9 billion mark. The answer is over. Suddenly, Professor Monica took the lead to applaud, and the rest of the students applauded. As a member of the acting department of the Academy of Film, if you can't know the status of popular movies in time, then you are unqualified, let alone Harry Potter, which dominates the Christmas schedule. In the following time, Professor Monica continued to analyze the Christmas movies Harry Potter, Man 100%, Become a King, Chocolate. These movies are constantly being mentioned, of course. The focus of this class is to discuss the series of Olympic films released at the end of December 2000, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Drug Network, Parting Ways, Looking for Forest, and other movies have been repeatedly mentioned. 1 Greek letter omega, Greek letter omega, Greek letter omega, Greek letter chi ones, co. So far, among a series of Olympic films, the most outstanding film is the Drug Network film released on December 27. At the beginning of the movie's release, it also adopted a small-scale release mode, with only 285 theaters opened. The 3-day box office on the first weekend was only $2.5 million. However, it is undoubtedly the movie with the most box office in a series of Olympic movies. Up to now, it has recently expanded the number of movie theaters to reach 890 theaters, and the North American box office has exceeded $35 million. Next, the more outstanding performance is the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie on December 27. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was released in 210 theaters in North America. In the case of not expanding the scope of the show, it has now achieved more than $9 million in box office results, and its performance is quite strong as for the other series of Olympic films. Haha, Professor Monica smiled and said, "It's not that I look down on these Olympic films, but that they had difficulty getting good box office numbers before the Oscar nominations were announced. For example, the film Parting Ways, which comes from the Czech Republic, its main purpose is to compete for the 73rd Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film, in order to hit higher box office figures." www.wuxiaspit.com. However, I am not optimistic about its results. In comparison, I think the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon film directed by Ang Lee has a high probability of winning the 73rd Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film. Of course, this is my own judgment of the teacher. Hearing this, many students couldn't help but laugh. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Many people also shook their heads. Obviously, they had not been to the theater to see the film. After all, many people find it difficult to arouse interest in movies starring non-European and American actors. Oh, forgot to say, the investor and distributor of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie, but Wald Pictures. Professor Monica reminded. Hearing these words, Many people immediately lit up looking at the entire Hollywood. The film company most popular with young actors today is undoubtedly Wald Pictures, which promotes eclectically and boldly employs newcomers. What's more, movies such as Spartan 300, Spider-Man, and Harry Potter are all produced and distributed by Wald Pictures. Perhaps I need to find time to go to the cinema and watch the so-called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie. A student muttered. This is the brand effect of the film company. Wald Pictures, which frequently produces excellent films, has not been established for a long time, but it still has a high reputation, high standard, and high box office movie, which has erected the correct brand effect in the impression of countless people. The first update of is sent. Chapter 448. Zero Breakthrough. Los Angeles, Burbank area. The 8th District Film Company. It is a film company that has just been established less than a week ago, with a registered capital of $5 million. There are so many film companies like this in Burbank. The difference is that it has a great location, adjacent to Wald Pictures, which is owned by Zucker. However, the founder of the 8th District Film Company is not simple. Actor George Clooney and director Steven Soderbergh are the two founders of this newly formed 8th District Film Company. George Clooney, he's a well-known Hollywood actor. Dawn, Batman and Robin, Strategic Master, 11 Arhats, 12 Arhats and other movies are all his masterpiece. In 2012, the film Escape from Tehran, produced by him, won the 85th Academy Award for Best Picture in one fell swoop even though it is early 2001. George Clooney is also a Hollywood actor and famous. Another founder Steven Soderbergh, he is definitely not a person who is waiting for leisure and, he is a very famous director in the Hollywood circle. In 1989, at the age of 26, Soderbergh directed his debut film Sex, Lies and Videotape, which directly won the Palme d'Or at the 42nd Cannes International Film Festival. In 1998, he shot the film Strategic Master and won the Best Director Award from the American Film Critics Association. Within a few years, he won the 73rd Oscar for Best Director. George Clooney, Steven Soderbergh, the 8th District Film Company founded by the two of them. Don't look at the new establishment just a week ago, but it is fully equipped with powerful production capabilities, which should not be underestimated. At this moment, George Clooney and Steven Soderbergh are standing in the office on the 3rd floor of the company, through a huge French window, looking at Wald Pictures not far away. Look at it. George Clooney pointed to Wald Pictures next door, and said vigorously, in a few years, our 8th District Film Company will be able to rise up like Wald Pictures. Director Steven Soderbergh nodded in agreement. In September 1996, Batman and Robin starring me was released in North America. Wald Pictures' Sixth Sense of Supernatural was released at the same time, and the production cost was only half of Batman and Robin. The cost of publicity is even more incomparable, but what's the result? The Batman and Robin movie has a blood loss. In the first half of its release, the North American box office earned more than $80 million, and the production company Warner Incorporated was stomped with anger, and Zucker. Wald's Sixth Sense of Supernatural movie has a North American box office of nearly $300 million and a global box office of $670 million. Sometimes, it doesn't work if you are not convinced, George Clooney whispered. The speech was full of plainness. However, his heart is definitely not at peace. To be honest, how many people looked at Wald Pictures and Zuke, a young man? But now, looking at the entire Hollywood, who would dare to ignore Zuke himself in Wald Pictures? How suddenly, the director Steven Soderbergh let out a hearty laugh. Don't worry, I will help you avenge this one. Hearing this, George Clooney immediately lit up and smiled. Don't even say. The movie Drug Network you directed is really very likely to win this year's Oscar for Best Picture and Best Director. Several awards. Among the many films released by Chong A.O. recently, Drug Network is the most outstanding film. Even the well-performing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie was severely suppressed by Drug Network. At the same time, Kevin Fitch, the new acting president of Wald Pictures, and Gavin O'Connor, the deputy director of the production department, are standing in the office of the president of Wald Pictures, looking into the distance. It happened that the two of them saw George Clooney standing at the window. The two of them really got together. Kevin Fitch asked. That's right, Gavin O'Connor, the deputy director of the production department, said. This should be the first time they came here after the formation of their 8th District Film Company. Haha, I don't want us to become neighbors. In fact, the atmosphere in the office at this moment is a bit solemn. The Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie with high hopes has been severely suppressed by Steven Soderbergh's drug network in terms of box office and word of mouth. This is not good news. This year's Oscar awards, we want to win the Best Film, Best Director awards. It is too difficult, Kevin Fitch said solemnly. Gavin O'Connor sighed and said, "It's up to people to get things done, and it's up to the sky to get things done." This is what the boss often talks about. I think it makes sense. From the current situation, we have the opportunity to compete for the best foreign language film. Bigger, Wald Pictures is growing day by day. Whether it is Hugh or every executive of Wald Pictures, they are not only satisfied with getting high-gross movies, but also want to win a few Oscars. Fill the honor room of the company. Look at other film companies. Looking at any famous film company in Hollywood, in its corporate honor room, which one does not have a lot of Oscar figurines, but the huge Wald Pictures is known as the top film company under the Big Six in Hollywood. Its honor room is empty, and there is no golden man. It's so good to say that it doesn't sound good. The Oscar statuette is actually not important and does not affect the reputation of a film company. However, you don't even have a statuette, which is very speechless. This year, that is, in 2001, the 73rd Oscar Awards ceremony, from Zhu Ke himself, down to every employee of Wald Pictures, wanted to make a zero breakthrough. Golden Shugwang Entertainment Group. At this moment, Zhu Ke, the boss of the group, is chatting and talking about work with the company's CEO Victor. From 2001 to 2003, in the past 2 years, if there are no accidents, I will not add additional funds to invest in Wald Pictures. We must consolidate our foundation and enhance our ability to resist risks. However, if it is the Hollywood VI Big, or DreamWorks, MGM and other film companies, have the act of taking greater action, you don't have to be afraid, just let it go. Genius remembers MX/8/1/ZWCOM. Zhu Ke said in a deep voice. www.wuxiaspit.com. I understand. Victor nodded and solemnly said, "To be honest, even if you don't mention the boss, I will mention it to you. Our entire Golden Dawn Entertainment Group has developed too fast. However, our foundation is not steady. From myself, to the person in charge of each subsidiary, to every executive, almost everyone is too young." Young means vitality and energy, but it also means lack of experience, lack of calmness and old-fashionedness. In the handling of many jobs and projects, it is inferior to the 6 companies with deep foundations in Hollywood, and it is inevitable that various problems and mistakes will occur. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. After all, we are still young. Zhu Ke smiled and said, "How can young people not make mistakes? What we want is to learn from their mistakes." Just like this 73rd Oscar competition, we lack enough experience, but we don't lack competition courage. A few days later, New 81 Chinese network update. The fastest computer terminal, HTTPS, The Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie, which was released on December 27, 2000, finally began a large-scale centralized release after a small-scale release of 20 days. January 17, 2001, the number of theaters showing the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in North America has risen from 210 to 1,450 in one fell swoop. If the box office performs well, the number of theaters will be added. The second update of is sent. Chapter 449, the first and second place are mine. A few days later, after the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon expanded its theaters, it immediately received a good response from the North American box office market, and the box office surged. Before the expanded screening, the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was released in North America for more than 20 days, and only achieved box office results worth more than tens of millions of dollars. But, when the film expanded its first day after its screening, even on weekdays instead of weekends, it blatantly won a single-day box office score of $6.7 million, ranking first in the box office chart of North American movies that day. Previously, the Drug Network movie, which won multiple single-day box office championships in a row, received $5.2 million in the same day, which unfortunately ranked second. As soon as the news came out, my colleagues in Hollywood were not calm. Look, take a good look. Let me just say, before the Oscar nomination list is announced, the outcome of Drug Network and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is still unknown. God, it's really amazing. I thought Wald Pictures' trip to Olympics was about to end. I never expected that just the first day after the expansion of the number of screenings, it suppressed drugs in one fell swoop. Network. Tisk tusk tusk. There's a good show to watch. Say no. In 2000, Wald Pictures really rose. Not much else. Butterfly Effect, Spider-Man, Fatal Turn 3, Human Removal Project 2, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, not counted. I don't know. After the calculation, Wald Pictures made a crazy profit last year. Most of the hot box office colleagues of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon come from Hollywood's second and third tier film companies. On the other hand, the Big Six in Hollywood, DreamWorks and MGM, were silent. They rarely have executives discussing in private. No way, the old face can't hold it. Shortly after, on January 22, 2001, the well-known American media Hollywood Weekly released the 2000 annual North American movie box office rankings. As soon as this report came out, entertainment companies in the United States, as well as movie fans who love and pay attention to movies, bought this issue of Hollywood Weekly as soon as possible. It's all for this list of the annual North American movie box office rankings in 2000. The results are as follows. 1. Spider-Man 1, North American box office of $330 million. 2. Harry Potter, with a North American box office of $271 million, is currently still in theaters, and the box office will further increase. 3. Christmas Geek, North American box office of $247 million. 19. Human Elimination Project 2, North American box office of $107 million. 43. Butterfly Effect, North American box office of $60.75 million. 50. Fatal Corner 3, North American box office of $49.3 million. On the top 50 list of the annual box office rankings in 2000, Wald Pictures was very conspicuous, occupying 5 places in one fell swoop. At the same time, the most interesting thing is the existence of the top 2. Spider-Man and Harry Potter occupy the top 2 positions of the list, which directly caused a major earthquake in the integration industry. Very unbelievable. Harvey Weinstein, president of Miramax Films, when interviewed by reporters, he bluntly said, since the reform of Hollywood film companies and theaters in 1988, movies produced by the same film company, they occupy the top 2 in the annual box office rankings in North America, which is unheard of. So far, this is the first time. Undoubtedly, Wald Pictures is the craziest film company in Hollywood in 2000. Shocked, extremely shocking, New Line Film Company owner Zhu also said, a number of films made by a film company have all entered the top 50 of the annual box office rankings. No, it's not uncommon, but there are 5 films in the top 50 all at once, which is amazing. Besides, the first and second places are also owned by Wald Pictures. Emperor Gate Entertainment. Patrick, one of the big 3, sighed, you are talking about the first list, look at the second list. In 2000, the North American movie box office rankings 51st to 100th, Ward Films is also amazing enough, occupying multiple places in one fell swoop, and it has released as many as 3 films from other film companies that have entered the list. Tisk tut awesome. DreamWorks animation company Jeffrey Katzenberg said very seriously, don't forget the Finding Nemo animated film. The animated film Finding Nemo, released in 1999, was launched by Waterworld Animation, and it has been used worldwide in one fell swoop. A staggering box office of over $900 million was sold, that is, in 2000. Waterworld Animation did not have a new animation film released, otherwise the top 3 on the list might be rounded up by the guys Zhu Ke Wald. For a while, the entire industry was shocked, especially in the 6 major Hollywood companies. Many executives gritted their teeth. What a shame. If Wald Pictures only occupies one place in the top 3 rankings, they would have to complain at most, not necessarily how angry. However, Wald Pictures directly occupies the first and second place, which makes them very unacceptable for the superior guys. What do you want me to say? What else can I say? Shame, shame. Fortunately, Waterworld Animation's Finding Nemo movie was released in 1999, not in 2000, so the first 3 are all his. The 6 major Hollywood companies, except for Paramount Pictures and 20th Century Fox, who have made friends with Zhu Ke, the other 4 have less scruples. www.uxiaspit.com plus DreamWorks and MGM. Originally, I was quite dissatisfied with Zhu Ke himself and Zhu Ke's film company, and was jealous. Right now, he stomped his feet with anger, wishing to give Wald Pictures to death. This list is single, and although Zhu Ke himself and Wald Pictures have made enemies and a few more jealous guys, it is also good no, it is the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie that is directly affected by a January 29, The 73rd Oscar Organizing Committee announced the list of nominations for the Oscars for the films released in 2000. The film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, directed by Ang Lee, invested and released by Wald Pictures, won 10 nominations in one fell swoop: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Foreign Language Film, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Art Direction, Best Photography, Best Editing, Best Theme Song, Best Film Score, Best Makeup. It is absolutely amazing enough, even if it can't win so many awards in the end. Wald Pictures' journey to Olympics this year is enough to be awe-inspiring. Warner Brothers Pictures CEO Barry Meyer said nominations for 10 items made Wald Pictures very happy. At the same time, Zhu is also very happy at the box office. Up to now, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movies are available in North America and have won more than $60 million in the box office, and broke the highest box office of more than $57 million in North American foreign language films created by Life is Beautiful in 1998. Record shocked. One of Zhu Ke's emphasis on dog legs. The Los Angeles Entertainment News wrote an article for the first time. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie is expected to become the first North American foreign language film with a box office of more than $100 million. The first update is sent. Chapter 450, But a Manor. As the saying goes, good things come in pairs. No, the list of nominees for the 73rd Oscar Awards has just been announced, which happens to be the same day that Wald Pictures held a celebration party. The Harry Potter movie was released for more than a month, and the North American box office was nearly $300 million. Of course, it is necessary to have a good celebration banquet that night. Various film and television celebrities, well-known directors, and film and television company owners. As long as they have a name and a surname in Hollywood, one counts as one. As long as there is time, they basically come before and after. More than 200 invited guests came in person. Bill Mitnick, former CEO of 20th Century Fox Pictures and former president of Wald Pictures, as a hero of Wald Pictures, and made outstanding contributions to the two films Spider-Man and Harry Potter. The retired old man, today, also came to the celebration banquet. Hi, old man, how are you doing these days? As soon as old Bill arrived at the scene, Zhu put aside all the affairs at hand, came immediately, and gave old Bill a big bear hug. Zhu often calls him old guy, which seems a little disrespectful, but, as long as it is from Wald Pictures, everyone knows that the old and the young are on good terms. Thanks to you, I'm fine. Old Bill laughed and said, you don't know how happy I am now. Well, let me tell you this, I should retire early. Once upon a time, old Bill had to retire due to physical reasons and age factors. He was very nostalgic. After all, this is the industry he has been fighting for decades. He once said more than once, leaving this industry, I don't know how to live in the future. But now, after retiring, he returned to his hometown in Texas, a small town called Satsuma, and bought a small farm. On weekdays, he spent half of his life with his wife, enjoying the best old age. The fastest full text of Cyrillic letter M. Cowboy. I wanted to be a cowboy when I was a child, but for various reasons, I couldn't achieve it. I don't want to. I am old, but I realized it. Every day I sleep until I wake up naturally, eat breakfast, and stroll around the farm. In the afternoon, I am fishing by the small lake on the farm. I am interested. I take my beloved shotgun and go into the forest to put a few shots. In the evening, it is even more important. Comfortable, I surrounded the stove and chatted with my wife about the past. Everything is so cozy, I have to say that, except for the moment when he just retired. The old Bill was a little panicked, and now he is fully adapted to his retirement life. After all, his body is much better, and his whole person looks very energetic. Zhu Ke didn't feel bored at all when he heard the old Bill's nagging, but instead he nodded frequently, with a smile on his face. Kevin Fitch, who was on the side, also smiled and said, Boss, I saw the photos sent to me by Mr. Mitnick. The herds of cattle and sheep on the pasture, the countless golden corn on the farm, and the sights weddings at the end, as well as fish and shrimps that keep jumping out of the fishing grounds. I am also very longing for this kind of life. New 81 Chinese Net Update. The fastest mobile terminal, HTTPS. The celebration banquet hosted by Wald Pictures was not held in the hotel, but in a manor outside Los Angeles. The manor is called Dedicage Manor. It is a 10-acre, approximately 40,000 square meters, manor house built in 1982 by the well-known rich man Turner Dedicage in Los Angeles. It may not be the largest private estate in Los Angeles, or even the top 20, but when it comes to the degree of luxury decoration, It is definitely second to none. The DuPage Manor is a private manor, never open to the public. This time, Zhu was used to hold a celebration banquet, which is entirely the reason why the wealthy Turner de DuPage deliberately befriended Zhu Ke. Without it, DuPage wants to buy a stake in Zucker's LinkedIn company Lima. You said, "How about I buy this place?" Zhu suddenly proposed. "What?" Lima suddenly said in astonishment. "Aren't you kidding me?" Zhu spread his hands. "Do you think it's impossible?" "Oh my God." Lima immediately covered his mouth with both hands, shocked. "This is DuPage Manor. I heard that since the completion of construction in 1982, as many as dozens of rich people in the United States have wanted. I bought it from Turner de DuPage, but it was rejected. You can actually buy it." Hearing this, Zhu smiled triumphantly. "There is no way. This is the manifestation of strength." Zhu is a bit stingy about people, but he is not stingy at all about his own life. On the contrary, even a bit, little luxury. Whether it is to inherit the real estate left by the deceased mother after crossing over, or the Burbank villa valued at $4.6 million bought in 1996, it is still unable to meet Zucker's needs. Apart from anything else, Zhu needs a better and bigger manor for security alone. The DuPage Manor occupies an area of 10 acres, with a variety of luxurious buildings and complete facilities. The overall value is no less than $60 million, which fully meets Zucker's needs and status symbol. At the same time, it can also avoid the harassment of many media reporters. Originally, Turner proposed that he wanted to make the manor. "I hesitated, but seeing you like it so much, what else can I hesitate?" Zhu hugged Lima. Lima nodded like garlic. "It's really good here." A manor with a value of $60 million may need to be considered when replacing it with many rich people, but when it comes to Zhu, it is just a drop in the bucket. What's more, DuPage Manor is so beautiful that the delivery date of my yacht has not arrived, otherwise we can go out to sea. Zhu said suddenly. "You do not say." The yacht purchased by Zhu worth tens of millions of dollars will not be delivered until mid-2001. At the same time, when Zhu and Lima were whispering, as the new president of Wald Pictures, Kevin Fitch became the target of many invited guests. "Kevin, I heard that this year you will have a big move in Wald Pictures." "Good guys, it's only the first half of the year. In addition to the movies being shot on District 9 and the Queen wearing Prada, many new films have been established," said Vicky Williams, president of Touchstone Pictures. "That's right, www.wooksyaspit.com. I also heard about it," Paramount Pictures vice president Jordan said. "I originally wanted to take over Mark's film called The Heart of Anger, but the guy Mark had to be the director personally, so I stopped. However, I didn't expect it to be your Wald Pictures' courageous, $12 million movie, and just voted it. Tisk tusk." At the same time, in one part of the manor, many Hollywood actors were chanting enthusiastically keywords: anger attacks the heart, speed and passion. Now, the two films have been approved by Wald Pictures, the script preparation has been completed, and the selection of actors is about to start. So many Hollywood agencies and actors are in them. The Wald films in 2000 was quite beautiful. If possible, I would certainly be willing to participate. The person who said this is impressively Tom Cruise, one of the most popular actors in Hollywood. The voice just fell. Two-time Oscar actor Tom Hanks laughed and said, "Whether it is Furious or Fast and Furious, the production cost of these two films has not exceeded $40 million. You Tom Cruise as a male, the protagonist's minimum salary is $15 million. So, do you think it's possible for you?" Tom Cruise smiled awkwardly. However, Jackie Nix, Matt Damon, Paul Walker, and other actors are moved in their hearts. The second update of Ascent. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.